Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back
to
it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Rutledge, Georgia, a burning car in a rural area with 2 bodies stuffed inside is the start of a twisted tale that began very innocently and somehow ended up with murders that are as cold-blooded as they come. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another wild, crazy adventure we like to call Small Town Murder. They always end up the same way. With death.
They're always small towns and always murder.
And there's always murder, and we will definitely do that today. We have a really twisted, weird, crazy, as usual. I say that like that's a new... Yeah. Normally it's not, but this week it's just weird. No, it's always weird, and this week is no exception. Before the show, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Oh, yeah. Tickets for live shows.
There you go.
September 20th. Minneapolis State Theater. Get in there. Big, beautiful theater. And if you sell it out, you will beat Chicago and be our biggest show ever. So
I'm excited.
Let's do that, Minneapolis. Yeah. Let's together all have a great show.
We're so close. So
we're
let's
so close. Do it up. And then the next night, I think there might be a few tickets left for the Pabst in Milwaukee. Very few. It's awesome. And then also Austin, Boston, Kansas City, Oklahoma City. I know there's 2 cities there. And Terrytown, New York also. A few left there. And Phoenix is sold out. So So anyway, do that. Shut up and give me murder.com, patreon.com/crime in sports. All your bonus material, anybody $5 or a month or above, you get it all. Whole back catalog of stuff, you name it, it's there. Hundreds of episodes, new ones every other week. This week for Crime and Sports, which you'll have access to, we're going to talk about the most penalized hockey games in history. There's 2 games. One broke the other's record, and all it is fights. So we're going to watch a supercut of all the fights and laugh our asses off at Canadians beating the shit out of each other. It's going to be awesome. Then for Small Town Murder, something we've wanted to do for a while here, Internet Salad. It's our pre-show that you guys never get to hear because we hang out and bullshit for a long time before the show, and it's all the stuff. Yeah, we're going. Squeeze. Yeah, you see today you missed a great one today about squeezing old people to see how long they're going to live. It's all of that stuff. So we're going to talk, go around current events, that kind of shit. It's going to be fun. No politics though. Don't worry. We're not going to dip in all that shit. So patreon.com/crime in sports, and you get a shout out at the end of the show as well.
Oh yeah.
Jimmie will mess your name all up for you. Don't worry about that. Definitely listen to our other 2 shows, Crime in Sports, and of course your Stupid Opinions as well, because they're very good shows. And if you're not listening, you're missing out. We don't want you to miss out. Yeah, we want you to hang out with us. So definitely do that. Disclaimer, it's a comedy show.
It is.
It is. The stories, unfortunately, are extra super real. That's the thing. Yeah. There's nothing made up for comic effect or, it would be really funny if they said this. None of that stuff. Yeah. We tell stories with better research than Dateline, but way more funny. That's how we get into our deal here. So what we don't do, though, is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags. That's how that works. So if you'd like to join that party, it's going on and it's a rager. So hang out with us. Yeah. If you think that true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, maybe we're not for you. Maybe we are, though. We might be.
You don't know.
You don't know. So give it a shot. No complaining later, though.
There it is.
That said, I think it's time to sit back, everybody.
Here we go.
I don't care where you are. I want you to take a deep breath, arms to the sky, and let's all shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this, Jimmie.
Okay.
I got too excited. I got ahead of you on that one.
That's good.
That's all right,
Very
though.
good.
That's okay. We're jazzing it. Don't worry about it.
Let's run
Let's
it.
go on a trip here. We're going to Georgia. And this is a story that goes between Georgia and Alabama as well. So it's next
dance
to each
on
other.
the border, huh?
We're gonna no. It's not. Neither are on the border. Neither place. That's the thing
just
too.
Shuffle back and forth.
They're going back mid-state to mid-state. It's very strange. We're going to Rutledge, Georgia. Rutledge, Rutledge.
Who's that named for?
Well, we'll find out. Don't worry. What do you think? There's no history of this? Come on now. I got stuff.
That's obviously a person.
Clearly, I was a guy with a farm. We'll talk about it. It's in central Georgia. This is outside of Atlanta, but not like a suburb. It's kind of like there's the suburbs of Atlanta, and then there is some woods, and then this out there in the middle of nowhere type of deal. So it's about 50 minutes outside Atlanta. To give you an idea, which means to drive to the middle of Atlanta, it should take you about 7-8 hours if you've ever been in Atlanta traffic. Somewhere around there, in that ballpark. About 3 hours and 40 minutes to Savannah, Georgia, and about an hour to our last Georgia episode, Milledgeville, which was Evil Came to Play. That was a really creepy one. I remember that. It's a good one. Go back and check that out. This is in Morgan County, area code 706, and their motto that I've seen in a couple of their things is this is pretty funny. This is what you'd give to like a child in a tough situation. Quote, "Small but special."
Sometimes it happens.
It happens, man. History of this town. Make your own jokes there. You know what I mean? There's so many jokes to be made. Rutledge had its start in the 1840s when the railroad was extended here. That's when things happened here. It wasn't incorporated till 1871. It was originally placed on the map during the mid-1800s when the railroad laid tracks right through a guy's farmland, Hezekiah Rutledge. No. Which sounds like an 1800s farmer more than anyone else I've ever heard. Hezekiah Rutledge? That's what you'd make up.
He wasn't paying attention. They built it right through his land.
He went on like a vacation for a few days. He came back, went out to like till the field, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Why is there 7,000 Chinese people on my property nailing in fucking stakes and shit? What's going on?
Or was it already done? He didn't see it, and he ran his plow across it and like killed 2 horses.
Didn't know, so he was just doing some work. All of a sudden, he heard choo choo. He was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Go right through my yard. Hey, what's her name? Sally. That's his wife's name, right? Sally.
They're all Sally.
Hezekiah and Sally, get out. There's a fucking train in the yard.
You're not going to believe this.
You're not going to believe this shit. Hezekiah's got a filthy mouth, by the way. I can tell. That's why he's so pissed off. Anybody'd be cursing if you laid railroad tracks across your farm.
Walking, stubbed your toe on the tracks. What the... Where did this come from?
So as a concession, they said, well, we'll just name the area after you. Gee, thanks. They called it Rutledge's Place, and soon it became just Rutledge there. And it was basically a farm and a railroad stop. That's all there was here. And then other people started coming in. A banking company was chartered here after that, and all that sort of thing. Now, I guess during after the Great Depression, Rutledge became the site of 2 civilian conservation corps camps created as part of a public works program by Roosevelt, and that was to create Hard Labor Creek Park, which sounds fun as shit. That sounds good. Hey, kids, who wants to go throw the Frisbee around? No, Hard Labor Creek Park. We're going, yeah, that's going to be great. No, bring the baseball glove, too. It's going to be a day.
Let's go on over to
Hard Labor Creek Park.
Hard Labor Creek. Let's go over to Hard Labor Creek and drive some railroad spikes.
Jesus Christ. That is the worst fucking name for a recreation area I've ever heard.
Hard Labor Creek.
Let's go make out at Cancer Point. You want to? Me and you in the car will finger each other. Holy shit.
Hangman's Noose water park.
It's still part of the Georgia State Park System.
Unbelievable.
So reviews of this town, there's only one from this actual town, then there's one from the town that's close to it that this is kind of a suburb of. Here is 5 stars, the only Rutledge review. I've lived in this city for about half my life. It's not a city, by the way, Rutledge at all. And it's amazing. I love the parks and homes. They're There, gorgeous.
Right.
And I recommend you live here and get or rent a house. And then there is, 5, 10, 15, looks like 21 exclamation points, I believe.
Jesus
if I'm a quick.
Get or rent a house.
Get out. Hard Labor Creek Park.
He loves the parks. He likes that one specifically.
And then they say, I love here, and the E's, there are 6 E's on the end of here. So they love it here. They love here. And then these are from Madison, which is very close by, and the quote-unquote larger area, which is also still pretty small, but not as small as Rutledge. 5 stars. Madison's is a safe, sane town. Safe, sane.
They mean sane?
Probably sane.
Yeah.
The people are nice, and the look of the town is even nicer. Our school is extremely well. Our school is extremely well.
They heard once upon a time not to use the word good. Always use well in place.
Not there.
I got to show how smart I am.
Superman does good. You do well. Yeah. I love when they compliment the school and sound like a moron doing it. That's saying how proud they are of a school. That's my favorite thing about town reviews of all time.
Yeah, if this school made you say this school is well.
It says, our school is an extremely well, one, the word one, and we are a safe town. I don't know what they're talking about at all. I'm worried about any students that come from that school.
That's a problem.
And then the other one is 1 star for Madison. Small town with a small town tone.
I don't like a small town tone.
Apparently they don't, because they only gave it 1 star.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it sounds okay. Lots of history. Not much to do for young adults or teens, which is every small town.
Right.
Very Southern culture. Well, yeah, you're in rural Georgia. What do you want? Beautiful. That's like going to Brooklyn and going, all these fucking New Yorkers around here. Just that accent, the fucking pizza, I can't take it.
It's all the goddamn pizza.
Why'd you move here? Yeah. It's just pizza everywhere. It's fucking guineas. Beautiful landscape, great school district, little to no crime. 1 star. So that they must hate whatever the tone of the town is, because the rest of it sounds fine.
Small town tone is. That's so good.
People in Rutledge, 1,105 is the population. So that's
what a city.
Very small, and it's drivable to Atlanta. So that's still tiny as balls. I mean, wow. A few more females than males, but not many. It's closer to even than the average is. Median age here is 34, lower than the national average. The 5 to 9-year-olds, shitload of them for some reason.
Okay.
Not sure why, but there's a ton of 5 to 9-year-olds. Yeah. Family, it's normal, 50-50 married. So that's the average here. Less people are single with children here, too. So it's you move out here with your little nuclear family type of deal, it seems like, here. And let's see, their unemployment rate is 3.3%, which you have a huge city right there. You should be able to find a job, which is very, very low. Median household income here, $58,750 a year, which is lower. It's usually about $69,000. Cost of living, though, 100 is average, normal. Here it is 100. So
right at it.
Right on. And the median home cost is $346,800.
That's high, right?
It's a little under the national average at the moment. A little bit.
Fuck, man. God.
95 is the
That's
the
so
It's
so
expensive. So if we've convinced you, damn it, this is the only place for you. You want to figure out whatever the tone is. You want to go to Hard Labor Creek Park and have a great time with the family. We have for you the Rutledge, Georgia Real Estate Report. The average 2-bedroom rental here goes for $1,450, which is above the national average.
That is steep.
By a good chunk, too, a couple $100. First house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,248 square foot shit shack. That's a decent size house and everything. His house is a piece of shit. It is falling apart. Looks like the back of the house is probably going to fall in soon.
Perfect.
Inside, it's a fucking wreck. There's like ugly blue carpet in some rooms, and like it looks like somebody did it poorly in 1975 and then never touched it since then. Let it rot.
The house is like an all seasons patio.
It is. That's what it seems like. It's a piece of shit. $199,500 for that piece of shit.
Unbelievable.
Wow. I hope the studs are good, because that's about all
How
you're
many
going to
acres?
keep from it.
Any?
None.
Just 200
Zero.
grand for
Fucking,
nothing.
Yeah. A little yard. That's it.
Robbery.
Next up, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 5,000 square foot.
That's so amazing
That's a
to
big
me. Every
house.
time. That's so many great rooms.
So much. 2.58 acres, too. So you got a little bit of land.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful. It's built in 1903.
Wow.
So when they built a 5,000 square foot house in 1903, it was something.
Playing.
It was beautiful. It's got columns in the front. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Inside, it's hard to tell what it's like inside. I guess it's nice, but it's covered in so much decoration. It looks like the way Allison put it was, it sounds like looks like a New Jersey Italian housewife decorated this fucking place, but Southern style, the Southern, like Carmela Soprano's alter ego in the South.
Gotcha.
That went batshit. It's a lot everywhere. And that house is $850,000, which is not bad for a huge house on almost 3 acres in this country. That's. If you have $850 to spend. If you have $850 to spend, that's good. Yeah. Jesus Christ. There's houses in Phoenix that are pieces of shit that are that much money.
You're not getting that for it. Yeah.
So here's a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, T-bowl for each and every beehole, baby. 4,321 square feet. So again, big house, but the house isn't really what you're concerned about. It's 230.74 acres. That's a lot of acres.
Dream.
That's like a whole town to yourself.
You'll see nobody ever.
No, you could put up a general store and a main street. Wow. No one is ever there. It's great.
Right.
That's fucking perfect. That's awesome. It's inside. The house is done. You can tell in the last 8 years or so, they had it done top to bottom. Yeah. Complete. Everything is gray.
Shit piles of money.
Everything is gray. It's just gray, neutral. Kitchen has the big
exposed beams.
It's not the exposed beams, the metal like tubing through it, like the vents, like vent shafts and shit in it. Yeah, which looks kind of cool because it looks kind of old school.
Do you mean like the AC ductwork?
Everything, yeah, all that kind of shit you can see. And then but the kitchen itself is like this gray HGTV nightmare. So it's kind of weird though. $4,590,000. 230 acres. I mean, that's that's why neither of us have 230 acres. We're not willing.
Boy, would I love that.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it'd be great.
Damn it.
Except when the first month when the payment is due for that.
And, there's that, and then at the end of the year when the taxes are due.
Yeah, that's bad
all that
too.
Shit, that's gonna sting.
Things to do here, not a whole lot to do, as you might imagine, in a town of 1,100 people. But they do have the Rutledge Country Fair, not County Fair, the Rutledge Country Fair.
Right.
And it says, celebrate the start of summer at their biggest event of the year. This is it right here.
This is it. Yeah.
41st annual, held at City Park. At least it's not at Hard Labor Creek. That's better than that. This free event guarantees fun for the whole family. Guarantees it.
Or you're fucking
or you're nothing
no money back.
Yeah. How do you guarantee fun? That's the
when
weird.
It's free. You can't guarantee shit.
That's like a nebulous concept to just guarantee. You know, that's like guaranteeing. You know, whatever, any emotion. You can't guarantee an emotion.
You know what their guarantee should be is if you show up, you'll be there. You'll guarantee
be here.
it.
We'll be open. That we guarantee. Enjoy live music, a fun parade, exciting games for the kids, delicious treats from local food vendors, and unique handmade goods from local artisans. In other words, shit.
What could be a fun parade?
Tables of homemade bracelets is what they just said from local
artisans. If that parade isn't float after float of topless women, this is no fun.
And you'd run out of topless women. There's 1,100 people instead.
Throwing out gift cards for free blowjobs. That's the only way.
Free blowjobs at the place where we hang out topless all the time. Hanging out They're just handing out blowjob tickets. What the hell's going on up there?
That's a fun parade.
Spend the day in small but special Rutledge. That's in quotes there. Enjoying the park, exploring the shops, and relaxing to the sounds of Morgan County's finest voices. That's the music. I swear to God, I searched high and low. I searched for like musicians who were putting this up on their social media as a gig. I could not find who fucking performed there, but I have something better. I did find that they have a summer concert series.
Oh, yeah.
In the same place. So I said, well, who's playing that? Let's find out that. Because the concert's the only thing that's going on. So that's got to be a big act. So it's going to be better.
Is it Morgan County's finest?
It's Morgan County's finest voices right here. The Alabama Troubadours they had one week. Celebrating
it's not Alabama, it's the Troubadours.
The Alabama Troubadours celebrating the music of John Prine, who I've never heard of.
Oh, really? Oh, John Prine's terrific.
Oh, really? Yeah, no. You said that like I should have heard.
John Prine's terrific.
Oh, I'm sure he is, but you said that like, James, you don't know John Prine? No, I don't.
But I don't think he has an extensive catalog that you could...
fill a whole night with, people, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know that that's true.
Well, the next week, Diane Durrett and Junebug will be there.
Whose music do they play?
It just says singer-songwriter. I don't know which is which, but Diane or Junebug. Yeah. The Justin Kennedy Band, which plays classic to new country. Everything. It's just country.
Okay.
Doug Deluxe and the Rodeo Clowns.
Okay.
They play
Doug Deluxe.
Doug Deluxe and the Rodeo Clowns. They play. I hope they're dressed like rodeo clowns, by the way.
I'm trying to process and absorb the words Doug and Deluxe together.
Doug Deluxe.
It's pretty dope. That's a pretty good name.
It sounds like a rapper, Doug Deluxe, doesn't it?
Or just a big fat country man.
Yeah, one of the two. Traditional Western swing they play.
Yeah.
We have Reckless Abandon, who plays classic rock. Wyatt Espalin, who's a fiddler.
Okay.
We got him. July 19th, Brian Ashley Jones. Brian, that's one person, not Brian and Ashley Jones. Brian Ashley Jones. And Melanie Jean. They're an Americana duo.
Oh, you got a dude with all three of his names and then a girl,
and then a girl. Brian Ashley Jones and Melanie Jean. Yeah. Well, that's not her last name. You know her name's Melanie Jean?
That's her first name. Yeah.
That's her first name, Melanie Jean. You just fucking know it. The Mistletoes will be playing on July 26th, which makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
They'll be doing Christmas in July. Rockabilly / Big Band Christmas.
Okay.
Those are not the same things, rockabilly and big band.
No.
They acted like those, like those are always merging, rockabilly and big band. Completely different forms of music. It's wild. Campbell Harrison will be there, who's a singer and songwriter. Then August 9th, Blue Velvet Atlanta.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess we just hang
Blues
in
and
for
jazz.
all of John Prine's catalog.
I feel like let's start out on June 7th and sit there and really see what John Prine has to offer. I would say if you're going to be a cover band, though, does everybody who likes country music know who John Prine is? Is he old?
If you love, yeah, I think he just died too. But if you know him, you fucking you have to really love country music.
Okay,
you got to know who like Little Jimmy Dickens is, like shit like that.
So basically,
it's old, yeah,
probably not the best idea to be a cover band of that guy.
Well, you know what? He probably wrote. That's the other thing. He probably wrote a shitload of songs that are crazy famous that nobody even knows that he wrote. It's probably
true.
like that.
Yeah, you always see that in music though. There's so many people. We found out that fucking Nas wrote all of Will Smith's shit, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
And Eminem wrote shit piles of Dr. Dre's
well, that
music.
you expect. You knew that when you
knew
heard his rhythms.
Up, so
like, okay, Dr. Dre's been a rapper
sounds different
for 15 years, and he's changed his the way he writes his bars, whole rhyming stuff. No, he didn't change his whole cadence.
But yeah, you're right. There are a lot of rappers that wrote for other people, and fuck, we found out Busta Rhymes wrote a bunch of Belle Biv DeVoe songs.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
it's that stuff. You don't know. John Prine probably did that for a lot of very famous songs, and I probably just don't know. I know I can't think of one off the top of my head, but he's a great singer-songwriter. Fuck shit.
I was thinking Nas one day he's writing, sneaking Uzi on the island in my army jacket lining. Okay. And then the next day he's like, welcome to Miami. Where
parents just don't understand.
No, that was before.
Yeah.
Nas was like fucking 14 when that shit came out. But,
yeah. Nas is writing like Wild Wild West.
Yeah, that's what he wrote. That in Miami was the big one. Yeah.
Oh, did he really?
He wrote Miami.
Shit.
He wrote that. He wrote all like the Getting Jiggy With It. He wrote all that shit.
God
all the big
damn
hits.
it, Nas, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Nah. Oh, wait, I got to get back to my stuff. My rhyming is a vitamin held without a capsule. Oh, I got to get back to Will Smith now. Hold on. Fucking confusing. Holy shit.
Stick looks sick up in that Boxster Porsche.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? Crime rate in this town.
Yeah.
What we're interested in here, property crime is high. It's high.
Hell yeah.
1,100 people. What's going on? It's 25% high. Like, it's high. That's a lot more.
You better get some national artists in here to calm these motherfuckers
chill
down.
Them out.
They are restless.
Dig up John Prine and stick him up there because that's what they want, apparently. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is, I'd like to, in the words of Mona Lisa Vito, dead on balls average is what it is.
Dead on balls.
Exactly average to the percent.
Just like housing.
Fascinating. It's wild. So that said, let's talk about some murder here because, oh boy, is this a fucking twisted one. Let's get into it. A lot of stuff here comes from a book called Death Trap, written by M. William Phillips. Oh. I wonder what the M stands for. Just go by William Phillips. Or Phelps, not Phillips. Phelps, I'm sorry.
Oh.
M. William Phelps makes a huge difference. You said, like that changes everything.
No, it does. It changes everything because it's probably Michael. And he's like, well, now I can't do that.
Yeah, it can't be Michael Phelps. That's probably what it is, honestly. Yeah. So let's go back to February 16th. We're going back in time, but this is 2002. So cell phones now, yes, but, cameras are just getting on them. And
there's no
media.
Internet on that phone.
No
either.
internet at all on that phone. No.
You got T-Zones from T-Mobile, and it sucks. It's not good.
I don't even know if that was on phones yet by 2002.
It may not. It may have been.
That seems like 2004 or 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't even check your fucking email on a phone back then.
No.
It was a phone.
Were BlackBerries in 200002?
Not yet.
No?
This is still LG flip phone shit back then.
Those Razors?
Yeah. Not even. Razors didn't come out till like 2006.
You might be right.
It's
Jesus Christ.
This is back in the day here, So 3:30 a.m., okay, February the 16th, 2002, Rutledge, Georgia. And Rutledge, by the way, from this book, I'll give you a quote. The town is located approximately halfway between Atlanta and Augusta. They call it a blip on a GPS screen. It's a forgotten place, essentially there to serve its people. Rutledge and Madison are quiet and nondescript wooded areas off Interstate 20 that interlopers might assume are nothing more than lost vast wilderness. Like, you wouldn't even know there's a fucking town there if you didn't know there's a town there. That's what it is. I've seen all the pictures, too. It's exactly what it looks like. Out here, good old folks live quietly. They bother no one. Their focus is on working the same land their forefathers had for generations past.
Yeah, but your crime rate is so high.
Yeah, what else
they're
are they doing
bothering
there?
somebody.
Someone's bothering somebody. So this is 3:30 a.m. Four friends are driving down Old Mill Road in Rutledge. Okay, they are driving in a Toyota minivan.
Like
now,
Sienna, yeah.
You're thinking, man, they must be finishing up a wild night, right? 3:30 in the morning, driving home from maybe Atlanta. They were out partying or something.
Sure.
No, they're on their way out at 3:30 in the morning.
They're going to party now.
No. Well, you could call it partying in a different kind of way. They're going to a chicken show.
Okay.
Quote unquote chicken show. Which I said, what is that? Is that like if you're sexually into chickens or what? But no.
I got to assume that's how you buy them, right? You got to go to the chicken show.
It's not only them in the minivan. The rest of the minivan is filled with cages full of chickens that they're bringing to the show.
They're about to go show the chickens.
They're about to show off their prize chickens. So they're out in the middle of nowhere, and this is, it's pitch black out here. It's the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere. There's no real big town. The town might have 2 street lights in it. That's it. It's a small area if you're lucky. Yeah. I don't mean traffic lights. I mean street lights. Like that's what I was saying.
Illuminate the street.
Yeah. Like so. There's no light from this. No glow. Towns from far away you can see a glow. Not a lot of glow here. So they're all these guys. It's 3:30 in the morning, and they just woke up and packed chickens into a minivan. So they're all a little, getting their shit together here. One of them notices a bright light in the distance, not in the sky like an alien, but above the trees, with a red orange glow to it. They're like, "Whoa, what's that about?" Is that it has to be a fire or something? So one of them said, "Look over there," and everybody looked. And one of the guys said, "Hey, I know the person who owns that land," which that's how rural this is. You just look out at a vast land, and you're like, "I know the person who owns a bunch of that." Like, oh, okay.
That 12 acres, my friend. Let's go see him.
Just that big swath of land. So they turn around. He says, turn around, go back there. Because he said he was worried that the woods were on fire, and his friend, it might burn, and who knows if it could go to his house and burn his house down or some shit. It's the middle of the night. The guy probably doesn't know his woods are on fire.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So they pull in, and they're pulling onto Hawkins Academy Road, and they could see dark smoke and flames up there.
Oh.
They're like, holy shit, this is not a like two bushes on fire. This is a fucking fire.
This thing's already out of control.
Oh yeah, they pull up. There's trees that are already like burned to nothing next to this, and what they see is in the middle of all this, the epicenter of these flames appear to be a car fully engulfed in flames.
Shit.
Like that's where the woods didn't catch the car on fire. The car has caught the woods on fire, obviously.
Yeah.
So they get out of the van, and they said as soon as they opened the door of the van, they felt the heat. It was such a hot fire. They could feel it like push them back, and holy shit, they had to step back away from the fire. One of them was called, immediately called the sheriff. Probably knew him, hey, Bill, your land's on fire. So wake up. They call and they got Deputy Sheriff John Eugene Williams. John Williams. It couldn't be a more common name than that, huh?
No kidding. Yeah.
He takes the call, and they said there's a car on fire in the woods near Hawkins Academy Road. They said, get the fire department out here. The woods are burning out of control. This is going to get, we're not going to be able to stop this. Get out here. So they do. The deputy explained out in this area, he said, there's nothing out here. He said, quote, it's rural. And they said there's a car on fire out here at Hawkins Academy Road. And he was like, wow, that's way out there. He figured it was kids. He was like, these fucking pain in the ass kids.
Yeah.
Went out in the woods to fuck around and drink and do whatever they do out there, because Hard Labor Creek is probably closed. So you got to. Not a lot of places to go.
There's a curfew on that someday.
Yeah, that's hardcore. Yeah, lights out, they call it, actually. It's not even curfew. They said it was, Friday night going into Saturday morning, so that makes sense. There'd be kids out. Probably a bunch of kids went out, got shit-faced, and then, somebody had an old rusty car. They decided they'll take it out in the woods and torch it. You know what I mean? Because people do that. They shoot it all up, target practice.
Yeah, or
that's
you're
normal.
tired of paying the car payment, shit like that.
Yeah. They figure it's probably just some kids took a junker off their property and put it out there or something. So he said, get the fire department out there, though, and they didn't want the forest to be like an uncontrollable fire.
Yeah.
So, he said, okay, the deputy gets his jacket on, heads out there, and I guess it's located on Athens Highway, the sheriff's department, about 20 minutes from the fire scene. So nothing's close either.
No, 20 minutes away that's a distance.
That's a real distance. So yeah, it's Interstate 20 goes on there. There's Route 11 also, and you could see like how somebody might have got there. They were thinking about how they drove out there, and they could kind of see from town they might drive this way or that way. They said this road, the deputy said, there's very few houses on it. It's fairly isolated. So, and it is. It's way out there. And it's about 3:50 a.m. when he arrived, and the fire department was already there, and they already got most of the fire out.
Great.
He got there. Yeah, the trees look like they're out, and they're just kind of still putting shit on the fire. Wood goes out easier than like plastic. Plastic burns hot and long.
Steel or wires or shit like that.
Yeah.
Car seats. Oh my God. Forget
with that
it.
Foam shit. That foam shit burns inside of it. Oh my God.
You can't get that to be put out.
Fuck no. So yeah, the fire's under control, and the trees were burned all around it. The car was giving off a horrible smell of burned plastic and everything else. So he gets out of the car. The deputy says to the fire guy, anybody in that vehicle?
Yeah.
Anything, anybody? And they said it was hard to tell, but they could tell they look like a Pontiac from the, burnt up. It was so hot that it melted the license plate off the car.
Yeah, but in a fire, everything looks like a Pontiac.
Everything looks like a Pontiac.
Useless.
They find out a piece of shit, a defunct piece of shit. They find out it's a 2001 red Pontiac Grand Am. That's what it was originally.
They suck, but they're not they don't suck that bad.
It was white now. It wasn't red because all the paint had bubbled off of it and burned off of it. So that's what they figured out. It was parked nose first toward what looked like a gate to let cows or horses onto into a big area of field. Of a pasture and more woods. So it's I guess everything around it is charred. It looks like somebody dropped napalm on this fucking place. Yeah. Like everything in this circle is just blackened to nothing. So it's wild here. They said the trees looked really weird because they were like skeletons. They were so burnt out. You ever see those husks of trees?
Yeah.
It's scary looking. So as the deputy here walks toward the scene, he could see that, obviously a pile of melted car. And he said, Jesus Christ, obviously it's burned so much. He's like, this isn't an accident. A car didn't catch on fire.
Right.
Wasn't an engine fire, or like Anthony Soprano, AJ fucking was on some leaves and it caught fire under the cars. None of that bullshit.
His catalytic converter lit up his Xterra.
It's a good way to get rid of an Xterra, though.
They're popular again. People love them.
I know. I
for
see them all around
and shit. Yeah, they're very popular.
Probably good for that. So they said that a car fire normally will just burn itself out unless there's some serious accelerant involved. Yeah. And so the entire inside and outside of the vehicle were completely destroyed, blackened, charred to nothing, and still smoldering. The seats are completely gone, burned to nothing, burned to ash, and it's just a frame basically. So they get everything under control, and everything here. And he asked again, "Have you seen? Is there anybody in the car? Was there anything in the car? Did somebody come here and kill themselves or something? Who knows?" So they don't know. They said that you have no idea. He said he's seen movies. Somebody might have driven a car out here and put a body in it. But they said, no, ain't nobody. The guy said, no, ain't nobody in there. And he said, good. I don't have to deal with that shit. Yeah. But they do say, he said, but it looks like somebody just slaughtered some beef or had some deer meat or something in the trunk, the fire guy says.
What kind of... Okay, that's a bizarre answer.
Yeah, and who puts a deer in the trunk of a Grand Am? That's a strange way to transport live.
If you hit something and just threw it in the trunk, whatever, but slaughtered it in the trunk? What is that?
I guess maybe you slaughtered it ahead of time. You're bringing it to somewhere. I don't fucking know what they're trying to say. So the cop says, all right, well, let's take a look at that. And he thought maybe it was, poachers possibly, something like that, because it wasn't season or something. He said maybe someone trying to steal from this guy who owns all these, because there's a cow gate. So maybe a cow. Did they try to steal a cow? Then he's like, who the hell would bring a Pontiac Grand Am to steal a fucking cow?
Never doing that.
We'll put it in the trunk. Like, that's not a good idea. So he's like, but he said, I've seen people do dumber shit than that. So maybe, who knows? It might be someone who's not from around here. He doesn't know you can't put a cow in a trunk. So
you don't realize how big a cow is till you walk up on one. So maybe somebody was like, let's steal a cow. Yeah, look at them. They don't look
Why not?
I bet I could do it. Then you get near it and you're like, oh, this thing's so big.
How the fuck? Jesus, you're the size of the car.
500 feet away, look like you fit in the trunk. Shit.
I'll just ride you home, I guess. Never mind. We'll leave the car, come back for it later. Just ride you back.
I think he's heavier than the car. Fuck.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. Cows are so fucking big. They're terrifying.
Are they a ton?
I don't know if they're that much.
1,500 pounds?
They look like maybe 800 pounds, 900
pounds. I bet
pounds.
they're bigger than that. A horse is 800 pounds.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
A big horse, or like what kind of horse are we talking about? Like a Clydesdale?
A good sized horse. No, that's bigger. That's going to be 1,200 pounds for sure.
Jesus.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. These animals are terrifying.
I'll bet horses go from 6 to 1,200. I'll bet that's
probably about
right.
that. About 6 to 1,200 in that range. What do you want? Like a 750?
About the same.
A cow. Cows have so much mass though. If a cow wasn't so calm, we'd be so scared of them. Think about that.
Oh, we'd be so fucked too if those were vicious. Oh my god!
Like if they bit and charged, and you'd be like, oh my god.
If every cow behaved like a rodeo bull, we'd all be fucked. We'd be fucked. We'd be in so much trouble.
We wouldn't be eating much beef, I'll tell you that much. No. Shit would be really expensive.
We'd all drive much bigger cars, just in case.
Never know. So as he goes toward the fire, he can smell flesh burning at that point.
Oh, no.
Something. Cooked meat is what he said. Yeah. It was very gamey, though. Didn't smell like beef. But mixed with gasoline and chemicals and accelerant and electrical wires. Who the hell knows? Seats and plastic and who the fuck knows? But still, it didn't smell good. So he goes over to the trunk, and they said the plastic light housings on the end of the car, the tail lights are melted completely away, gone. The trunk was propped open with a tool. It's a fireman's crowbar there. Right. The license plate had fallen off, but it was on the ground. They figured out actually whose it was because it fell with the numbers down. So
very nice.
It was able to keep some shape there on the ground. So the sheriff goes in for a look here. The back seat of the car burned to ash, spring coils popping up, obviously. So there from the inside, he could see into the trunk of the car a little bit easier. Okay. And he said it was something bulky and large and all burnt up inside the trunk. And there looked to be a blanket or comforter of some type underneath.
Have none of these motherfuckers seen Dateline?
They've never seen. No, they never have. It's 2002 also, so they didn't have quite the experience yet.
The news hadn't reached them that sometimes cars get lit on fire with perhaps a body.
Perhaps. Well, that's what he thought at first, because he was literally said he'd seen The Sopranos, and he thought maybe.
Is that right?
That's what he said. He thought maybe somebody that was like his first thought. But he was like, no,
Right.
I'm in Rutledge. This isn't fucking, this isn't New Jersey. This isn't Long Branch. This is Rutledge. So he said he could see that. He could look in. I gave him a closer look, and he said he could see it. And he said he yelled to the fire chief, "These are human beings, not an animal."
Plural. Oh, my God.
Plural. So they sat there for a minute like, holy shit, this is insanity. They thought it was one large thing, and it's two. He said once you stood there for a while, you could see the outline of two dead people, dead and charred people. What was left of the arm of one person, they said. He said he couldn't tell if it was a male and a female or a man and a child. He couldn't tell. Couldn't tell. He said, I knew one was male, but I couldn't tell if the other was a female or a child. It was much smaller. So that's what he says. Now, these bodies in the car, they said there's a good chance that this was done to try to cover up some murders, And they said, the mob did this type of thing. And in the book, they go on to say that, yes, the mob does it, but they're usually a little cleaner about it than this.
Yeah, this is it's fascinating that they do that because how hot must it get to get rid of a body, right?
Yeah.
How hot must it be to get rid of a car and bodies?
That's what. Yes.
All you're doing is bringing attention to this.
Yeah, when the mob stuffs somebody in the trunk of a car, they generally don't set it on fire because that draws attention to that.
Right,
When they put someone in the trunk of a car, that's so they're not found for a few days, for a while, which gives them no time of when they were killed or disappeared, so nobody needs to have a solid alibi. And then they'll eventually be found, which is what they want, so everybody knows that guy fucked up and got killed and stuffed in a trunk.
And he got killed in a mob way, so maybe guys that are connected, we don't fuck with them because it could have been anybody.
When they want to disappear someone, they chop them up and throw them somewhere. That's not they don't do this.
This is lighting a literal flare. There's bodies over here.
Yeah, hey, look. Yes, remember the bodybuilder guy we had for Crime and Sports that him and his girlfriend set the girl on fire out in the middle of Vegas desert? It was like you could see that for 1,200 miles around you. That's ridiculous.
There's no light out there. The only light is that car on fire.
Bright light you could see from the strip, for Christ's sake. So they said that, this is obviously fucking horrible here. So they get a forensic team in there and going through everything, and they get a guy in, and he's looking for anything. DNA. Yeah. Can't really probably find fingerprints on the vehicle since every surface is burned to nothing and melted away. So he looks back, and as he's looking in, the guy says her legs, meaning he said this is a woman, he thought, were bent back around, back behind her.
Oh, my God.
Said it was a woman, a very small woman, very petite. And he said it was... No, it was actually the fire that did that. They said it would...
Oh, Jesus.
They said that the victim closest to the back seat of the car had been placed in the trunk first, is what they figured, because they would be placed in from the outside. Yeah. Then the guy said his legs, talking about the male, come up and then bend back around the thigh area, the right side of the body. He said... He noticed that both of the victims' arms and legs were discernible if you looked closely. You could make it out. He said the same was true with regard to other parts of their bodies. The back of the male's calves were the same way as the female's, bent flush against the back side of his thighs. So, like you put your legs under you to sit on something.
Yeah.
But sideways. They said they were definitely crunched up together, then placed in the trunk, basically there. They said... that's how it went, and they said that's how he thinks that they were killed somewhere else and brought here, because if they were killed, like they wouldn't be in the trunk in those positions unless they were stuffed into those positions to make them fit.
They had to be dead already, right?
Yes, So they think, okay, that's what we're working with now, which is a very helpful thing. Where this took place? Yeah. So they comb the scene and the trunk and everything like that. They find the comforter underneath the bodies that hadn't been completely consumed by the fire because they were on top of them.
Sure. Yeah, that'll stop the fire.
That helps. You might get some trace evidence off of that, a fiber, a hair, a DNA, something. So with the help of a bunch of other investigators, they remove the body of the male and place him in the body bag. On the male victim's left hand was a wedding band. Okay. So that's something. As they zip the guy up, he also notices what appears to be a hole in the man's wrist that looks like it's probably a bullet wound.
Okay.
It's a big hole that goes all the way through his flesh, and burned away around it. The male victim, they said maybe it held his hands up to block a bullet or something like that. That's possible. So maybe there's a bullet fragment somewhere around the car. Mm-hmm. Looking at the female victim, he notices what he called defects in the body, meaning not that she had a big fat ass or something, meaning that they're, not insulting her looks, saying that there's in the dead body, eventually finding out that they were also bullet holes that they found.
Oh, man.
She had a wound in her lower back. So with the comforter they take that out. They have the bodies in body bags. They said that they found a sheet of paper towel near the car. A sheet of paper towel with the imprint pattern of a little boy and a little girl. That's whatever is printed on the paper towels.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the decoration.
The corner of the paper towel was burned, but a majority of it was still intact. So that's something. Yeah. They take that. They also found what looked to be an engagement ring inside the trunk, but the diamond was gone, like a woman's engagement ring with a diamond, but it was gone. It was underneath where the female's body was placed. There's all sorts of debris in the trunk. Then they found 2 duffel bags as well.
Yeah.
One with partially burned clothes. The other looked to be have a bunch of court documents in it. So they said maybe that the murderers had hoped these duffel bags would be incinerated with the rest of the evidence. Maybe that was part of why they were there. Then they say, okay, this crime scene is too constricted. We got to spread out because it was windy that day. And he's like, it's super windy. And if we're finding paper towels and stuff like that, other evidence like that,
some other shit off in the woods,
could be blown around the woods. Yeah. So they took down the crime scene tape and made a much bigger circle here. And so they said they needed to expand everything. The crime scene guy ordered approximately 200 yards on either side of the vehicle to be roped off, which is a long fucking way.
200 yards?
2 football fields.
Feet in each direction? 600. It's a lot. Yeah.
So from side to side total, it would be, 400 yards.
Right.
Because it's 200 on each side of the car. So that's a lot, man. So they said they were going to rope all that off. That would be the new crime scene. They said that's that. So... They said they were going to do a grid-like search of the ground for anything. And they said anything. Cigarette butts, gum, footprints, a Lee press-on nail that fell off, a piece of paper, an earring. You find it, fucking grab it.
Receipt. I don't give a shit.
We don't give a shit what you got. Yeah. Whatever jumped out. So they said that, maybe somebody was sloppy. They seemed to think that fire would get rid of everything. Maybe that didn't quite get rid of everything. So they said, even if they tried to clean it up, maybe they left some shit. Murderers aren't great at murder all the time. That's the thing.
A lot of times things don't go as planned.
Don't go
Even
as planned.
If they planned this, something may have fucked up.
And sometimes they're too dumb to plan it correctly. And that's the other problem that happens here. So they say that they have some things, like I said, paper towels and things like that. The wind is getting worse and worse and worse here. And the guy said you don't get a lot of shots at a crime scene.
No.
Once you say, okay, it's good, that's it. Yeah. It's contaminated because everyone's going to trample it.
You get one try. Yep. That's it.
You get one try. And homicide detectives, in a lot of books I've read, they'll say, there's these cases where they're like, fuck, they're so mad they said, oh, yeah, all right, it's fine, and turned it over to everybody and said, I should have done this and I should have done that, and you can't remake it. It's just the way it is, and it's all contaminated now. So this guy finishes up his work, the forensics guy, and he's walking around looking for more stuff. He finishes his work at the car. Yeah. At one point, he locates and photographs a .44 caliber Magnum Remington shell casing.
Nice work.
About 10 to 15 feet from the rear of the vehicle.
Okay, so where it exited the gun or the weapon.
They said it was very odd, though, because a .44 would have blown the male victim's wrist off, not put a hole in it. Is what he says. So it would have blown bone apart and shit. So that's a little bit strange. So they said maybe 2 weapons, 2 different guns. We don't know here. So they're just trying to put things together. They continue to search. They found a spent bullet, an actual projectile. that was mushroomed over on the top inside the trunk. So it like hit something and mushroomed over. Mm-hmm. Then they found a cigarette butt, a Marlboro Light.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so we got...
God, they're delicious.
Yeah, the Marlboro Lights. Yeah, so they got Marlboro. So they're looking for a 44 caliber Marlboro Light smoking son of a bitch.
They're looking for Jimmie Whisman in 2002.
Yeah, except with very fancily stenciled paper towels. You have, you wouldn't have bought those. Easily. Yeah,
the cheapies.
So it turns out Rutledge, in the last 10 years, somehow this has happened a lot here. And they're like, well, are we like a dumping ground for fucking murder now?
Really?
Yeah, they said that it's very, very strange. They said there was an elderly woman abducted and beaten with a tree branch.
What?
Just left there, beaten to death with a tree branch.
She was dead?
Yeah, they just took her out there, beat her to death with a tree branch.
What kind of monster does that?
I don't know. It's who the fuck sets two people in a car on fire? That's crazy.
Yeah.
All this is crazy. Two teenage runaways, boys, who kidnapped a paper girl, kidnapped a young girl delivering newspapers, and left her mutilated body off the interstate in this area.
Dead too?
Oh, mutilated. Dead,
oh, my God.
Taken apart. They were seeing what was inside of her, basically. It was horrible.
This place is frightening.
It's terrible and terrifying. And then 3 teens who tortured and eventually killed a runaway girl as well in this area.
I hate this place so much.
Yeah. So, but they said, and this is a quote from the book, dead bodies popping up every now and then was no reason for alarm, locals knew. Huh? I'm alarmed. The old lady with the tree branch alarms me. Then we're finding dead teenagers all over the place. I'm very alarmed.
You people are insane.
Yeah.
If you're okay with this.
But they said it's not like it's, nothing they're doing wrong. It just happens to be between 2 major cities, between Atlanta and Augusta.
We happen to be so safe that even murderers feel safe to bring their victims here.
They know that no one's going to see it. So let's talk about some people here. All right. Mm-hmm. And we'll eventually find out who the hell we're looking at. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Alan Jeffrey Bates. Yeah. Bates. And Jeffrey is Geoffre, which I'm like, FFRE? I've never seen that before.
Well, that's how you spell the giraffe from Toys R Us, too.
Oh, is it? Man, I guess that would make sense. So he's born in 1972, though. Did that giraffe exist?
Wow. I'm not sure. I don't know when Toys R Us became a thing. I don't think so.
He's born January 22nd, 1972, to Philip and Joan Bates. And they have 3 boys in their family. Wow. And everybody's super close and everybody's happy. And the book calls them one of those wholesome, old-fashioned Southern Christian families who believed strong ties, loyalty, respect, support, and admiration for others were what mattered more than anything else in life.
That's what somebody said about their family?
Someone said that about their family in a book.
Wow.
Can you imagine your family being described by that post with some time, with some like hindsight, 20 years to look back on it? No, definitely not.
Those are all good words. Those are nice.
They were animals. They never that would be more accurate for me. Alan Bates grew up. He's the middle child, by the way, of the 3 boys. And his brother, Robert, they both attended Shades Valley High School here off of Route 31 this is in Alabama, by the way, near the Birmingham Botanical Gardens. And Alan is like every parent's dream as a high school kid. Just every parent's fucking wet dream. He's great in school, popular, seems to be well-adjusted. He's voted class president freshman, sophomore, junior year.
He got a three-peat on president.
He's doing such a good job. Throw it at him again. He's getting.
I imagine he had term limits there. No, senior year he couldn't get it.
We'll talk about senior year. Senior year is a whole different thing. But
really,
3 years running, which is absolutely crazy. He is also an honor student, and all that kind of shit. He's also one of those really polite to adult kids, ma'am and sir, and
all right,
can I help you mow the lawn and shit like that. He's a Eddie Haskell-ish.
My friend's parents called me Haskell.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah, you are.
Like, what are you up to, Eddie? I'm like, calm down. I just, Mr. K. He's like,
you're Eddie Haskell on this show. Are you kidding me? The things you sometimes say that you're real upset and care about him. Like, motherfucker, if we weren't on this show, you'd be laughing your ass off, right? Don't give me that shit. Don't try to be nice for people.
It's how I keep people from hating me.
Just be yourself. It's much more fun.
Yeah, I just didn't want. I didn't
You're
want
a great
my
guy.
friends'
I love you.
I didn't want my friends' parents to know that I was going to corrupt their kid.
Like they weren't just as scummy. That's what you're right now.
They knew I was showing him bad shit.
No, I was the same way too. I was polite because I think if you're half intelligent, you go, well, don't be obvious here.
Don't let them know.
Yeah. Trying to hide what I'm doing here a little bit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't let them know we're drunk.
Yeah. Seriously, look cool. Okay.
Mrs.
Are my
K,
eyes...
how are you? You smell like vodka.
Oh, shit. Are my eyes both open the same amount? Okay, good. Let's give it a shot. Oh, man.
Same amount.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a good way to tell. One eye is 10% more closed. You're like, what the fuck have you been doing? So, but Alan, I mean, like he's the back then, especially, and not even back then, it's 2000 or 1989 or something, but this is the guy you want your daughter to marry, all the parents down there. He's a church guy. He's all
good kid
here. He's an active member in the church as well. Mm-hmm. Alan played drums in a few different bands, including gospel and Christian bands. That's what he was playing mainly here. His father, Philip, said Alan picked up an interest along the way in technical theater and was responsible for his senior class having a stage production at Shades Valley, which they hadn't had in years. But he was, well, what the hell? What's the drama department then? Because they have he joined it. Okay, that's weird. But he was interested in the lights and the sound and the set design and the behind-the-scenes thing that make a theater production go. He wasn't interested in the drama, but he loved that.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, superstar.
Yeah, well, back then they were like, no, he likes technical things, though. He likes manly things. He likes, electricity and lights.
One of them actor gays.
He ain't one of them actor queers I see all the time. Ain't none of that. No.
I heard in Shakespeare they got two boys playing Romeo and Juliet. Not my boy.
Ever seen Tombstone? Them people get off the stage. Boy, that feller, not my son. So he loved that. One friend, Marley, knew Alan and the Bates boys all forever, said that they would sit and eat in the auditorium because he liked being close to the stage. So they'd eat their lunches in the auditorium. She said, Alan and I were raised like brother and sister. He loved the theater. Even then in high school, he just felt so at home there.
He may have been playing the gospel stuff because that's probably the best way to get yourself on stage every week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many famous singers, especially R&B singers from the South,
in the church,
they all started in the church, every one of them. I mean, that's just how the first places you sang in public back then.
I think Questlove did that with the drums. I think that's true.
It's probably possible.
I wouldn't be surprised.
A lot of people. Yeah. So he meets a girl, okay? This is between junior and senior year. Yeah. This is a young girl named Jessica Callis, Callis.
Oh,
and not like she's callous.
She sounds rough.
She's rough, this one. She's not rough at all. She's a girl from Hoover, which is right around here. It's right outside Birmingham. And she's the total opposite of Alan. Okay. They're a rom-com couple.
Oh, love that.
He's buttoned up and worried about stuff, and she's everybody called her goth. And this was in the 80s.
Really?
So she's basically Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice is what she is.
Big Duran Duran fan.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Dresses in a little bit of black. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options. Nice. It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it, and get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
They said, though, even in the groups known to be like the goth groups, she wasn't even really accepted in those groups either. She's just kind of weird, apparently. But somehow they get along and complement each other perfectly, which is very strange because they have nothing in common, but they really like each other. Yeah. Which is cool. So Jessica's the oldest of 3 children. I mean, that's it, too. They're both come from 3-kid households. Yeah. Hers was a broken home, though, not quite as she doesn't have the family life that he has by any means.
So tough.
Here, no, definitely not. She would go to church a lot too. She's a church girl, but different church. It's a different church here. It's a little bit more loose of a church. The Bateses go to a very Lutheran, fire and brimstone. Yeah. Women do this and men do that, and
And she's going to non-denominational.
She's going to
Christmas.
The Presbyterian church, so it's a little looser than Baptist or
We're
Pentecostal.
We're going to have a barbecue and fellowship and some punch and pie. Yeah,
that's it. You just tell everybody how great Jesus is. Hey, Jesus is a good guy. This is a hell of a pie you made here. I'll tell you something. So that's kind of what it is, and that's there. Apparently, Jessica said her dad George was a real asshole. She told everybody. He would beat the hell out of her and bruise her up and all that kind of thing. And she said, though, a week wouldn't go by without her parents getting into some sort of brutal, huge drunken argument where somebody hits somebody else, and her mother would be crying and her dad would take off shit-faced to go get drunker.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's kind of how her family life is.
Yeah.
So you can get the goth thing a little bit out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got some depression and some living on the fringe because you feel like you don't have it as good as everybody else. It's
true.
Yeah.
You also might wear sleeves to cover things like bruises.
Is that right?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And then, you end up, might as well wear black so I look, don't come near me type of shit.
Yeah.
Yep. So who knows?
Wear an undershirt a long sleeve undershirt under the T-shirt kind of thing.
Yeah, like that. Go do some 90s grunge shit. So her mother, Diane, was a church treasurer at one time, so they were very interested in church. They end up getting a divorce, Diane and George, luckily for Jessica here. Mm-hmm. And the second husband was apparently much more chilled out than
nice.
Drunky McDad pants over there, the first guy. So he was his name is Albert Bailey. He was an active elder on the council of the church.
Okay.
So he's hot shit.
Involved. Yeah.
Oh, real involved. Yeah, he knew Jesus personally.
Sure.
Yeah, it was there that I guess when this all happened, she was baptized here. Right. And all of that kind of thing, I guess, like rebaptized here. Mm-hmm. I guess their religion was different. This is what's crazy. They're both Christians. They both go to church on Sunday, but Alan and Jessica's religions are completely different, even though they're the same religion. I know they're not exactly the same. I don't know every detail of it, but we both love Jesus. Who cares? You know what I mean? But instead, Jessica had told somebody that Alan was brought up in the Church of Christ, which is not my church. I mean, it's Christian, but, the basic tenets are different than mine.
Yeah.
She had
Church
said
of Christ is very strict.
It's very strict. She said that hers was more of like just a liberal more church as far as the rules go. She said in the whole theory, different views on how girls should be treated, especially within the confines of the church. I disagreed vehemently with Alan's family on their church. So that's what she had told people back then. But regardless, they become a couple.
Sure.
Pre-senior year. And
6 days a week we spend together. That's all.
Yeah. And she's cute. She's the type, she has like kind of in the book even, it's described as like pudgy cheeks. She's like cheeks, but she's
teenager,
cute. Yeah, cute chick. So
adorable.
Yeah, she's not like, oh my God, falling over hot, but she's cute and he likes her. Yeah. So he's into it. And he just something about her. He said she's got a flair, you know what I mean? So anyway, Marley, the friend of his that they ate lunch together, said that Jessica did not like her at all. Didn't want her hanging out with Alan. Yeah, she said Jessica hated my guts. Just not into him.
Okay.
As soon as she transferred to the school, she transfers here for her senior year.
To his school.
Mm-hmm. And she made sure that it was,
Marley stays the fuck away.
Everybody
really?
said she like demanded attention, Jessica. She was one of those people. And her friend said she latched on to Alan pretty quick and pretty hard and pretty heavy. She loved the fact that Alan was a band guy. She liked that he was in a band. She's into that. So play that gospel music, baby.
Funky gospel music, white boy.
White boy. So as they became closer, Jessica pulled Alan aside one day, according to Marley, and said, "You have to stop hanging out with Marley. Never speak to her again." Even though they've known each other since they were babies and they've never had any romantic relationship, she thinks one is going to just pop out of nowhere here.
There's also... this is still a new relationship, and we're in our teenage years, and we're giving each other ultimatums already.
That's so fucking weird. And if you've known someone since kindergarten and you haven't hooked up yet, and you're in your senior year, it's literally never going to happen. You're brother and sister. It's not that vibe.
This is harder than a friend zone. This is way deeper than friend zone. Yeah.
Remember in Orlando, we did the live show. Remember the lady, the girl who I know who came in and said hi to us and stuff. Known her since kindergarten, and it's like. I would fuck you before I would fuck her. I've just known her. You know what I mean? She's like
I do appreciate that.
Like a sister. Well, yeah.
There's at least one woman on this planet that James would fuck me before.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Nothing wrong with her. It's just
No, yeah.
when you know somebody since you're 5, you're like, you know, you give her a noogie first before you.
Yeah,
it's like you're not. We're just not like that. That's weird.
I get comedian friends. There's same thing.
Yeah, totally.
Jessica, I would gladly go down on you before going down on her.
Well, with comics, it's just because I know how damaged they are, so it would have nothing to do with any of that. I just know to stay the fuck away because I understand.
But she's like, we relate on so many different levels of like personal. Like it's so bizarre. It's not even. There's no sexual tensions there at all. It's just, oh my God, you're such a sister, and she thinks the same thing.
Some people are like that. Yeah. So that's how Marley is like, man, this is really weird though. That you know she doesn't want. She said it was never anything in that way. It's just why can't I hang out with him? And then Marley said, I got a really bad read of her. I mean, everybody that knew her got a really bad read of Jessica. You could just tell that she carried with her a negative energy.
Yeah, Jess, let's just be friends. Isn't it more fun to have a bonfire with 3 people than 2 people?
Well, I mean, maybe she'll have a boyfriend and they can hang out. I don't know, whatever. Like they can be couples chilling or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. She said that Jessica had this dark aura about her, though, that just you felt like she didn't want people around. And they said that she was aggressive and different and aggressive in like outside of Birmingham, Alabama, too. Right. We don't know what that would be in terms of, you know, other places and how aggressive that would be or anything like that. But one thing Jessica will put out, that's one thing she'll do.
Really?
And not all the girls down there will, and she definitely will. One former high school classmate said, quote, she was fun. Which you know exactly what that means. She said, you know, and I'm sure that was appealing to Alan. Yeah. A 17-year-old with a girl who'll suck his dick? Yeah, that's really appealing. It's fucking awesome. So
we went out back the barn and she took my zipper down. She's great. This is my best friend.
I love it. So before any of that school stuff happened, when they were this is before she transfers into the school. This is before the end of the summer. The Bates family took vacations on the Gulf Coast all the time, and they'd stay on the beach at a condo they rented from a friend. So that's what they do. Yeah, it sounds gross. Yeah. Oh, good. I get to use my friend's shitter. Excellent.
On the Gulf Shore.
On the Gulf Shore.
Yikes.
So during the summer before his final year here, you know, weeks after they had met, Alan told her that he wouldn't be around for a while because him and his family were going on vacation. They go down to the coast every year. They spend a couple of weeks. So I'll see you when I get back. Sure. He said he likes it. So vacation is perfect. They gears him up for the upcoming school year.
Absolutely.
Told her not to worry. We'll be just like we are now when I get back. It's all cool.
I'm going down to the Gulf Shore.
See you later.
Hang out with Bama college students. I'll be back.
I'll be back. Don't sweat it. Oh, no, they won't fuck me. I'm 17. They're looking
I'm just going to stare at them and tug in my friend's bathroom.
I'm going to make some memories, we're going to call it. So he wanted to, you know, continue, and he told her that, you know, he let her know where they were going. Yeah, we go here. Didn't give her the exact address or anything. That'd be weird, but he just said, we're going to this beach. So they said goodbye. That was that. So one morning, Alan and his brother wake up, and they go out, and they stand on the balcony at the condo, and they're looking at the beach.
No.
And no one else is awake. It's early. It's just after sunrise. No one in the house is awake, and no one's at the beach that early. So he sees a couple people at the beach, though, and he said, what the fuck? He's looking, he's staring at 2 people sitting out in the beach out in front of the condo, and he's like, that's really weird. And he looked, he said, it can't be.
No.
And he said to his brother, he goes, that's Jessica. Oh, boy. And it was. Her and her friend came down there.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Whoa.
Don't show up for our vacation. What are you doing?
So Alan said, no way, you got to be kidding me. He said, what the fuck? He said, why is she here? It's a 260-mile trip. It's not down the street.
Oh, my God.
It's like in Phoenix if you went to San Diego and someone just showed up.
It's a 4-hour ride.
This is a fucking drive. It's almost 4 hours of driving, they said. So Jessica and her friend, when they got there, they didn't know where they were staying. They just knew the beach they were staying at, the general
She was
beach.
just going to plant her ass in the sand and wait?
Dude, no, they got there. They just drove up and down the coastline in the town she knew they were going to until she found their van. She knew what the Bates family van looked like, and she literally drove up and down the fucking shoreline until she found the van in a parking lot.
There are positives about that, I'm sure, but
Wow.
I can't find them.
Yeah, that she'd be a great homicide detective or something, but not. This is not a girlfriend. This is crazy.
No, that's so dangerous.
I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, unless you're wow, that's really good detective work, I guess, if that's what you're looking for.
I guess I'll never go missing.
No, and it was parked with shitloads of other cars in a big lot. Like they had to like go through each lot car by car to see this shit.
Each car.
Like panning for gold. Yeah. So after they found the vehicle, they went out to the beach because they said this is the parking lot for those condos, so they must be in there. So they went to the beach, slept on the beach, and said that I'm sure Alan and his family are in one of the condos, and they'll end up at the beach eventually today, so I'll just wait till he comes down and runs into me at the beach.
He'll be throwing a football out here later.
Yeah, I'll be intercepting his Frisbee later. That's perfect.
Surprise.
She never told him. I mean, she never told him. They at this point, they said they weren't even really officially dating. They were just kind of seeing each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and she wasn't invited.
But he fucked her, though. That's the thing. He thought that was casual. And she said, this isn't going to be a casual affair, my friend. This is, I'll be seeing you down at the shore. Yeah. I'll be seeing you down at the shore, sir.
Make sure you're not touching any other walls.
Yeah. Oh, man. So Alan and his brother went down there and, you know, Alan said hi and she said hi. And Alan said, why don't you guys come to lunch with us? And his brother said about Alan, he was a teenager and he was flattered.
Yeah.
Because when you're 17, you don't know that's dangerous.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That's the thing. When you're 17, you're like, that's how good my dick is. She loves it.
She drove 4 hours for this dick, man.
She probably followed it like Bugs Bunny would follow the scent of a pie on a windowsill. Like she just knew it where my dick was. That's how good it is. That's how you don't know as you're a teenager. You don't know. And you don't think of this little girl's dangerous to you. You're like, it's just weird.
She stopped at a Flying J on the way and was like, he's been here.
Yeah.
They gassed up here. I can smell it.
I can smell it. This direction.
She's like a tracker.
Yeah, she's like Siri with like a horny Siri. That's how he looks at it. So I guess Kevin said they didn't stay with us or anything like that. She just came down for that day. They drove back that night. She spent the day with them and then went, okay, and left.
I'm going back home.
Just
so you know, I'll find you.
I will find you. I know where you are. And he said he was like all like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, this shit can't get enough of me. Like he was all like, yeah, you know, that's what happens, man. You know, they dip their waters in Bates Lake, and that's what dip your toe in the waters, and you got to come back for more. That's what happens. You know, And she thought, yeah, this is good shit. So he thought it was, you know, he thought of it as like it was a special thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kevin said it was shocking to him more than anything that she had this freedom as a teenager to just do whatever she wanted. That was even more like her parents just let her take off.
That's pretty cool.
Staying at the beach that night, be home tomorrow. Like that's crazy. Now, her friends said that a lot of times people saw her intentions and they misunderstood her. They would misunderstand her. And, well, they said the reason is because she had a habit of putting others before herself. So they said where friends were concerned, this is a friend of hers, Jessica was very selective and only associated herself with those who were good role models. They're saying, which is doesn't sound like her personality, but that's what her friends are saying. So they said that she had a lot of independence with her home life, and she was more mature than the average kid. And a lot of that's her home life. You know what I mean? So she said that a classmate of hers said that her honesty was sometimes misconstrued as arrogance or rudeness. Okay. That's, she plain spoken, basically. She'll tell you what she feels, and she doesn't mean it in a rude way. She's being honest. So she came across, they said that's just the way she spoke, and kind of came across as crass and maybe a little snotty, even though she wasn't trying to be.
Okay.
So they said that a lot of times people just said, well, her family, she's got it tough, you know, and her dad left, and she's
been through some shit. Yeah.
She's been through some shit. So they said once you got to know her, though, there was no mistaking the fact that she was just a different type of person than a lot of the people around
She's
there.
just rad, sorry.
It just sounds cool. It sounds like to me. She like fucks and like, has like cool fucks and has like cool band T-shirts and shit. Like if you're 17, you want to hang out with this chick. You don't want to hang out with, the rest of them. So a former friend said that she, at the time, said that she hadn't talked to her in a while, but called Jessica that summer. And Jessica said, I met a guy. He's really something. I really like him. And, it's just great. She said, he's something. And she laughed. And her friend said, what is it? What's so funny about meeting a guy? Like, why are you laughing? And she said, well, quote, we're sneaking around and messing around in my car. And she thought it was kind of like, she was like giggling that they were having sex all the time in her car.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. She thought she liked him, and she was basically saying like, yeah, he keeps coming back, wants to have more sex over and over again. So I think he likes me.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that weird? And she had no trouble with this. Apparently, when she met him, she was seeing somebody else and having sex with another boy. And a lot of her friends said that, yeah, she got around when it came to that. If she met a guy and liked him, she had sex with him. That was it. So she said that, but Alan, she seemed to want a relationship. So she dumped the other guy and was focused on Alan.
Wow.
So when they get back from beach vacation, school starts, and they're hanging out together, and he wants to get in. This is his senior year, so he's got to buckle down for college and all that. So one friend said they were on the verge of breaking up. They weren't really dating at the time. Okay, so because he was focused on shit. Right. Alan didn't run for senior class president.
Didn't even run.
Didn't run. He might have just said, you know what, 3 years is a good run, and I'd like to,
it's up to you guys now.
Yeah, I'm going to magnanimously hand the reins over to someone else.
Bow out and, bring some new blood and fresh ideas into this campaign.
Yeah, people have been running against me for 3 straight campaigns, and I feel like maybe there's ideas out there. So,
I'm dominating, and I feel bad about it.
I feel bad. Let's give somebody else a chance. It'll look good on their college transcript. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he meets Jessica. After this, he's still hanging out with Jessica, and it's about 6 weeks after they meet, though. That's when. Okay, they met. They go to they have the summer. He goes down to the beach. They fuck around there. They're banging in a car. School starts. He doesn't run for president. This is 6 weeks after they met, so time has gone by real fast. Mm-hmm. One day in school, Alan takes Marley aside, his friend Marley, who's not supposed to be talking to.
He's not supposed to be saying this, yeah.
And says, Jess is pregnant. Oh, yeah, forgot about that part of it. Is the problem. Yes.
Dear God, we're not being safe about this.
No, fuck no. So.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and Marley said she wasn't really shocked about it. Yeah, she said, I was surprised but not shocked.
Well, I'm not surprised by it, I'll tell you that.
No, we know how sex works and how babies are made.
I know how babies are made. I got 2 of those.
I had a health class in like 7th grade that told us all about this shit.
At this age, though, this is, I'm look, man, I did it too. It's not, you don't realize how fucking easy it is to make a child when you're 17. It's so easy.
No, you figure, well, I'm a fuck up at everything. My jizz can't be that good. That can't work.
How would I barely do my day job well enough to get paid and not get fired. How am I going to make a child?
I can't make it. Come on.
It's so easy.
It happens. And Alan was good at everything. He should have known that it was. Yeah. Even his sperm would be good at things.
Right.
So he called Marley up, and Marley said Alan was such a good person. He was always going to do what needed to be done. He said Alan had made a decision, and that about the whole thing. Alan told Marley that, look, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you, but this is ridiculous. I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
He said, but maybe now we should not talk for a while. Me and you, he said to his friend.
For at least, 18 years and 9 months.
Somewhere around there. Well, actually 7 months. We didn't know she missed her period.
This far?
I think she's like 2 months pregnant. So,
she's gotta be.
Yeah, Marley said, I felt really, really bad. I hadn't sat down with him and truly told him how I felt about Jessica and the whole thing. So I said something about her that got back to him, and it hurt him, and I feel really bad about that.
Oh, no.
So he was like, look, I heard you were talking shit, and it's made it worse, and she heard you were talking shit. But she hated me to begin with because she didn't trust the relationship I had with Alan. So she's like, it doesn't matter if I said anything or not. She still hated me, but now this was an excuse that she made. Like, now she's talking shit about me.
Yeah, now it's valid.
And this Marley said that we were just all young. It's stupid. We were all 17 years old. It's fucking ridiculous. And now there's a baby coming into this and all this shit. So the Bates family agrees, though, that we're going to have this baby and we're going to work this out. Wow. So Jessica said she was going to do it, and she said she didn't care what anybody thought about it. She's going to have her baby, and Alan agreed, and his family agreed, and everybody agreed. So there's that.
Oh, my.
Kevin Bates, the brother, said she set her sights on Alan the moment after she met him and wanted to have him, and that was it. Also, he could have put a condom on, as you know what I mean. So
yeah, dude.
We can't blame somebody for being a receptacle at this point. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's enough blame.
Yeah.
There's enough blame and jizz to go around here when it comes to teenage pregnancy. Everybody's horny. It's fine. No one's whatever. So Alan, after this, becomes more withdrawn from his family, and he was always like he'd go to his mother and father with everything, any kind of even problems with a girl, he'd go to them, and that's how he was.
He's
and
gotta
now
feel like a failure though to him. You know,
well, yeah, he was on this road, and now he's literally making wedding plans at this point, and that kind of thing. So he always felt comfortable going to these people, and now he doesn't. So they felt space between them. Alan is distracted at school. The fact that he's how gonna have a baby is a lot when you're going to fucking math class. Yep. So the mom tried to get the dad, Philip, to talk to Alan and find out what was going on. He said he was fine. I'm fine, Mom. He pulled the institutionalized. I'm fine, and I'll work it out on my own. Just get me a Pepsi. He was like, it's all good. He went full suicidal tendencies with this shit, and but obviously he's feeling pressure from Jessica. Now, when he tells his family about the baby, he said he told his friends he couldn't sit down and tell them about it. He thought that would be a little too hard to do. So he wrote a long letter and left it on his dad's desk for him, explaining everything.
Think that's better, Al?
Hey, there you go. Kevin, his brother, said it was a very apologetic letter. Alan was saying sorry for bringing this on, sorry for making this mistake, and that he was he knew he was raised better than this, but he was also taking full responsibility, saying we'll make things work, is one of the quotes he said he remembered from it. Mom wasn't sold on this because she didn't like Jessica, Joan, his mother.
Really?
Didn't like Jessica. No. She said something about her she didn't like, and she didn't know if she wanted to have like a grandchild and have this chick in the...
Perhaps it's the part where she's fucking your son.
Maybe that's what it is. It's probably just the dark lipstick she doesn't like. You know what I mean? Right. I don't know. But she said she couldn't help Alan at this point, and she didn't know what to do, so she just supported her son. That's all she could do. Right. He said that Alan's letter said that, I guess Jessica was impregnated some weeks before and didn't know how to tell the family. He thought a letter was the best way to address it. He said he understood the values his mother and father had always instilled in him, but he was entirely prepared to take full responsibility for the pregnancy, and the baby's due in March of 1990, by the way.
Golly.
He said, I'm going to provide for the child and the child's mother, and that's what I'm going to be a guy here. So
Al,
I'm going to be a man.
Al knocked her up on the beach at Gulf Shores. I guarantee it.
Or in her car there.
Yeah.
I bet you anything. They
absolutely.
Off. Or one of the other times they were fucking in the car. Who knows? So March.
Deep down inside, I feel like that's the one.
Deep down inside is exactly where that happened. All of this.
In July at some point.
In July, yeah. It's exactly where the baby was made.
Yeah.
So March 20th, 1990, they have a baby girl.
Uh-huh.
And it was the first time that by the way, they get married before that, January 26th, 1990. Jessica
7
and
months
Alan
prego,
get married. Oh, yeah. She waddles down the aisle. She's born, baby's born 2 months later, and this was the first time that the families had got together since the wedding. Mm-hmm. They don't really like each other very much. And they got along, but they're a little, kind of
your son did this to my daughter. Well, your daughter did this to my son.
It's kind of, yeah, they're both kind of eyeballing each other like our kids have ruined each other's lives, essentially.
You've raised a piece of shit. Me?
Yeah.
What about
they're
you?
They're blaming people. Meanwhile, there's a cute baby and shit. And they're like, look at it. Look what happened. So Albert, her stepfather, explained that he's a handyman and a local contractor. And, Jessica said if it was a deck to be built, he could build it. If it was a water heater needed to be replaced, he could do it. He's a very handy guy. Yeah. And Albert said, look, if Alan needs work, because I know that, it's hard to find a job when you're this age, I could throw him some hours here and there and, help him out on the side. He's got always got side work with me. I could always use somebody. So that was nice.
Needs operating. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. It's okay. So he embraced the whole thing, Alan. He wanted to be a father and wanted to be a husband and all of that. They live with his parents, though. So that's, they can't afford to do all that. Yeah. So they decide to move, though, by April 1990. So a month of having a baby.
The brand new baby. All right.
Yep. And they're moving to Hoover, which is where she's from, because they're moving into Jessica and her stepmother Albert's house. Okay, Jessica's mother and stepfather, yeah. I guess because they're moving and they're leaving them the house to selling them the house or whatever. Okay. It's convenient though because the mom can help out with the baby and all that kind of shit. They live with the parents for a month. Mm-hmm. And then there was a big fight between Jessica and her mother, and they were back at the Bates' house.
Okay.
They end up back there.
Now we wait till they move out? All right.
Yeah, and she said at one point, they said Jessica was acting different when they got back. She pulled Joan Bates aside one day after they moved back in and said, listen, you are not to answer the phone if my mother calls. You cannot invite my mother over to this house. I will say when she can see her granddaughter. So you don't make any plans with my mom. She's out. Yeah, in your own house. Out. So I guess it was a little bit volatile there and, that kind of thing. So Alan graduates from high school in June of 1990.
Wow.
A married man.
A married father.
Married father. He enrolls in fall classes at the University of Montevallo, which is 35 miles south of Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah. And that's good for her, too. And they said that Jessica liked this because his friends said she didn't like anyone who was close to Alan. She felt threatened by anyone in his family, any of his close friends, and she basically wanted to pull him away from his whole life.
Okay.
Yeah. So they needed a home at this point. So his dad, Alan's dad, Phillips, bought a fixer-upper house for them, Jessica and Alan. Yeah. Good, nice parents. It's a 100-year-old ranch-style house that needed lots of work. He bought it, but Alan makes the payments on it. That's how it works. Sure. So he'll kind of get it, and that's how it goes. Alan, though, is determined to get a college degree and get a decent job and be able to raise his family right. So
you have to. Yeah.
He's going to class. He's studying. He's doing landscaping, construction, handyman stuff on the side. Yeah, he's just anything he can. He's also still playing in a gospel quartet here.
How do you have time?
I don't know, but they make money. They get paid for gigs.
Oh, okay.
So he does it, and he likes it. Jessica did not like this, though, at all.
No.
She would yell at him all the time about all the groupies and all the girls that were screaming for his attention. All the groupies at the gospel quartet.
All the groupies screaming amen and hallelujah.
Amen, yeah. That's what they're screaming, and she's like, that's probably just for Alan. They mean Alan, not amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I know what they're up to. And I guess that, and he's out, he's going to school, he's doing gigs. There's girls in all these places.
Right.
And she's sitting at home with a newborn baby feeling insecure about herself, which is really, understandable.
Sure, yeah.
It's understandable. She accused him anytime he talked to any female of any stripe or sort, she accused him of sleeping with her every time.
For God's sake.
Yeah, she's very jealous. And like we said, there's also postpartum shit involved in this. So a 17-year-old girl sitting at home alone with a baby while her husband's out playing gigs. And, it's not, I get it.
She feels
you know what I mean?
very useful. Yeah.
Yes. So Joan and Philip, his parents, Alan's parents, they move in 1991. Philip takes a job in Georgia and moves to Atlanta.
Okay.
So he's an engineer. And, he said that their family, mom had worked while he went to school to be an engineer.
Okay.
And then he, took over and said that, he likes to He pays all the bills and does everything because his wife took care of him when he was going through school.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1992, he retires and relocates the family to Marietta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, where he goes to work for an engineering firm. He'd worked for Bell South for 29 years.
The telephone company.
Yeah, he goes to work for an engineering firm, and by 2000, all 3 of the kids are grown and out of the house and all that. So that's what happens to them over the next few years.
Empty nesters.
Later on. So by 1992, Alan's trying to find his way. He's going through college. He really wants to work in the theater. Here.
Really?
Yes. He's also not happy with Jessica. He is upset that Jessica has, as he put it to somebody, let herself go.
Oh.
So in the last year and a half, she's basically just sits on the couch, watches soap operas, and gets fatter, is what he said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Perhaps she's a stay-at-home mom.
There might be a little bit of depression in there as she stays home alone and all
you
that.
You certainly contributed to this, Alan.
Yeah, you gotta understand that. So November, also weight gain comes from this. November 16th, 1992, they have another baby.
Yeah, dude, she's not fat. She's pregnant again.
She's fucking pregnant. Stop having sex with her for 5 minutes and maybe...
Or at least bag it up or take it out. You know what?
Yeah,
Come
something.
on, man.
Jesus Christ, get a pill, something, do something. So after all of this here, now she's even has more anxiety after this baby as well and all of that. So for the next 2 years, basically Alan is miserable and he wants to get away from Jessica, but he has 2 daughters and he wants to try to make it work. Yeah. So... his one friend said he loved his girls more than he hated his marriage, so he wanted to stay.
Okay.
But he was never like happy with Jessica at all. Then by 1994, Alan finds out Jessica was having an affair.
Oh, Jessica!
So now he's like, okay, now I'm out. Now I got an excuse that no one can look at me and say I'm a bad guy.
Right.
You know, I'm done with this shit. And that's it.
That lends to the old thou doth protest. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She's screaming about you're untrustworthy. No, bitch.
No,
it's you.
She's the one. And maybe she's doing that, trying to gain some, I don't know what, I'm sure there's a psychological thing, but you can't be doing that and expect the result to be good.
And a lot of times when people are accusing, it's because it's
a lot. Yeah, it happens often.
Yeah.
So Jessica here would alienate, apparently he left,
friends,
and now she would alienate him from the kids. That's her goal as well. So, yeah, she's mad. She said that he deserted her and deserted the kids, and he was the one who left and all that kind of thing. She doesn't say because I cheated on him,
right?
But she's very upset. She's also says that, he's a bad father, and her goal is to make him look like a bad father in the eyes of the kids here. Yeah. Their divorce is finalized January of 1995, and he said, you can take the house we live in, the Montevallo house, until the kids are adults, and I'll pay for it. I'll pay the fucking mortgage, basically. So... not bad. So they give, and she can have the kids. Alan gave the complete blessing for her to be the main caregiver of the kids and all that kind of thing. And Alan had no trouble relinquishing that. He thought in his mind kids belonged with their mother, especially if the mother wants to have them, and that he's also got a lot of shit going on. So, and he thought that she was at least a good mother. Maybe she might be a pain in the ass as a wife, but she's a good mother, So She was a little bit different, though, here. Some things started to happen. At one point, after they're broken up, she would get very upset with him and try to keep the kids from him. Routinely, this was, allowing him visitation when she said so, even if they had plans. She'd go, well, now I changed my mind. After a month of being divorced, he was already going crazy because he would call, she wouldn't answer, he'd leave a message, no one would call back. Yeah. He'd, when he finally got to see or talk to the kids, he'd ask the kids if their mother or grandmother had given them his messages. I've called 100 times, and they'd say, no, we didn't know you called at all.
Oh, God.
Jessica would take things as far as sending the kids to sit on the front porch with their bags.
Yeah.
Telling them that Dad's on his way, knowing that they had no plans for him to pick them up that day. And then she would
fucked up.
She would have them sit out there for hours and wait.
Oh my God.
And then she would go, well, I guess he doesn't care. See, he's not coming. He doesn't care about you. That's why he's not coming. He's supposed to show up, and that's what happens.
That's sick, dude.
That's some sick shit. Yeah. And that's her friend said that she did that. Like that was like her, haha, that'll show him type of deal. Somewhere in here in the next couple of years, she has another baby from an unknown man.
Okay.
We don't know who the fuck impregnated her, but somebody knocked her up and she has a baby. So now she's got 3 kids. Now the house, she left the house and moved into a new house without notifying Alan at all that she moved, where the kids were moved.
You can't do that.
And he had to pay the mortgage then. He didn't even know she was gone, but he still had to pay the mortgage until the house was sold. And so he was like, what the fuck? You got to tell me that. Finally, he meets a new woman here in the mid-90s, okay? In 1995, he meets Tara, Terra, Klug, Klugh. Could be Clough, but I'm going with Klug, I think. She's born in 1971, Tara, so they're similar age. Yeah. She's a nice, pretty, smart girl, very mature, very calm, very the opposite of Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A sure thing is what she is.
That's exactly right. So she, they worked, I guess he was working at the Alabama Theater, and she started working there as well, and that's how they met in something he's interested in.
Couple of theater nerds.
Yeah.
A little kiss under the under the
under
stage.
the bleachers there.
Yeah.
She's the granddaughter of a former Alabama state representative, Ed Simpson, of Clemson, I guess.
Big fan.
Oh, no, that's South Carolina that was there. Okay. So, huge fan. She's very career-minded, just like him, and Alan was in charge of everything technical that happened on the stage at Alabama Theater. That's what the technical director said. He was responsible for all that kind of shit. And this guy who ran the place said that he thought the world of Alan, thought he was a great guy. Yeah. Tara goes to the Alabama Theater as part of a restoration team put together by the Department of the Interior, because for old theaters to fix them up. So the team traveled from D.C. to Birmingham to document the theater for the Library of Congress, the before and after. It's a pretty cool job. She was living near Washington, D.C., working for the government and, in one of its historic American buildings and structures programs.
Awesome.
Tara had grown up in Clemson, South Carolina. She studied to pursue her art degree. She even went to London to study art for a while. So
studying abroad.
Completely different than, Jessica's kind of a smaller town girl who never left, got pregnant at senior year of high school and stayed. And this girl's like worldly, into art, knows theater.
Fuck small town.
Worldly. Yeah, she's been to fucking England. Yeah. Her minor was in mathematics, so theater and math.
And she's smart.
Yeah, she's very smart. She went to Hollis University in Roanoke, Virginia. She spent 4 years as an architectural historian for the Historic American Building Survey, and then became a project historian for the Alabama Theater.
Very cool.
One of her goals was to begin work on her master's degree of arts in historic preservation, which she was into. That was her main passion, was historic preservation. So she wasn't really interested in a relationship. She was interested in her career. Mm-hmm. And she is very private and that kind of thing. And doesn't really go out with a lot of guys. But as soon as she met Alan, her friends said that she just fell in love with him immediately.
What does Alan do? Good
I'm telling
for him.
you, Alan is a swinging dick, man. He's doing real well here. Her father said about Tara, I had never really gotten the impression from her that she was serious about anybody. That is until she met Alan. Of course, there were others along the way, sure, but they usually tripped over their bootlaces if given enough time, and so that was it for them. But Alan, he was different.
Sounds like a wedding toast.
It really does. That fucking absolutely does. So they were friends at first, and then they got in a romantic relationship here, and they started talking to each other, and he would listen to her, and she would share things that she didn't share with other people. And then, at one point, when she was supposed to be leaving because the project was over, she said, I really see potential here with you. I'm quitting my job.
She quit.
She's quitting her job and her career in Washington, D.C. and all this shit to be with him here in Alabama.
Wow.
That's how much she likes him.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of boy. That's something. So she didn't want to do that. So as they moved on to other parts of the South, Tara was going to have to leave, and she didn't want to do it. So this is his brother, Alan's brother, Kevin, said, she's a beautiful, strong spirit who just made my brother shine. She's the perfect combination or companion for him. Sorry. It made us realize we were looking at an adult relationship for Alan, and there couldn't be a better situation for him.
Yeah.
So one night, he's still got Jessica and the kids, though, that he's battling with here. So it's not like all is peachy. One night in 1998, Jessica's supposed to drop the kids off at Alan's apartment. So she does. She shows up with the kids there, instigates an argument with him.
Yeah.
Before she left, she hit him, scratched him, and shoved him down the stairs. He fell down the stairs of his apartment.
So she went to jail.
Well, no.
God, Jesus.
A friend of Alan said his face was bloodied. She messed him up good. One of Alan's friends happened to be there. Here, and so was Alan's mother. Joan was there as well. So there was witnesses here, and they were like, They both said she was crazy. They said she had this crazy look in her eyes, and she just looked so fucking enraged and hateful. After the attack, she didn't leave. She just stood there. By the time the cops got there, she had scratched herself all up in the face, they said, because she had no marks on her before. And then they all went inside, and then the cops came, and she scratched her. She must have done it to herself, they said.
Wow.
And she said, as soon as the cop got out of the car, she started saying, "Look what he did to me. Look what he did to me."
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, and there's two witnesses. We're not going on, he said, she said. There's witnesses that saw this. So the police figured out, they ended up finding blood against a brick wall. They found out that she had scrubbed her body up against a brick wall to create the appearance of cuts.
Wow.
They found, like skin and fucking, like fresh skin and blood on a wall that she, like, scraped herself up on. So they're like,
there's a piece of her tattoo.
Wow. Alan, by the way, in addition to being scratched up and battered, he broke his arm in the fall as well.
Good Christ.
So this is pretty fucked up. He files charges.
Good.
At this point. Now, by the way, she's working as a dispatcher for the Birmingham Police Department at this time period.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Where she meets a guy. She meets a guy named Jeff Kelly McCord.
What's this asshole do?
He is a cop with the police department.
Of course he
Yep.
Why? Stop, you dirtbag. Stop trying to fuck the dispatch girl.
Always trying to fuck the dispatcher. She called him Kelly after his middle name for some reason, but Jeff is what everybody else calls him. He's a quiet guy, kind of oafish, people say. Yeah. A bit of kind of a big dummy. But she liked him because he was easily manageable because he's dumb. Right. She can kind of guide him around. So, yeah, she liked him. She liked that he was a cop. That gave her a sense of protection. And also that she found out that Jeff was pretty naive and she could talk him into some shit here. So his friend said basically she fucked his brains out and he was putty in her hands. That was that. Yeah. Jessica can throw a good one at him, and he's like, I like her. Doesn't care.
Whatever you want on me.
That's okay. So Alan, and also Alan is getting serious with Tara at this point. Everybody's getting serious. And Jessica said that she thought she needed to settle down so in the eyes of the court, if he's taken her to court for custody of the kids, she could appear to have a stable environment. So if she gets married, that'll help is what she looks at it.
And 96, 98, like there's nothing more in the court's eyes. Somebody that's married to law enforcement, you look like
it's a police officer. Yeah, nuclear family like a motherfucker. So, and she knew at this point social workers would probably be poking around and seeing what she had going on. So
you toss your ex down the stairs. They got questions.
They got a couple of questions they want to know about.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cash back really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
So June 2000, Alan and Tara get married.
Great.
That's nice, right? That's pretty. They have a June wedding and everything.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Later that same month, another June wedding takes place. Jessica marries Jeff.
Not to be outshined.
Outshined. Nope. I will steal your thunder like a motherfucker.
You're cohabitating and married. Guess who else is? Wow.
They also just had a kid together, Jeff and Jessica.
That's
so
right.
That's another reason. Oh, no, she has four now.
She has 4 kids now.
2 with Alan, 1 with unsub, as we'll call him, unknown subjects, and then 1 with Jeff so
far.
And then
Detective Dum Dum.
Detective fucking dipshit over here, yeah. So, Deluxe Dave and his detective dipshits.
Unsub and Detective Dum Dum.
Deluxe Dave and Detective Dum Dum is a band I want to watch. Oh, man. So, the weird thing is the McCords now, Jessica and Jeff, pull their mailbox out of the ground of their new home, and their mail is not delivered there. So it's weird. So they have their mailing address is a P.O. box, and nothing can come to their house. Wow. It's very strange. So Jessica now and Alan, their battle for the kids is growing and getting more heated here. Boy. Jessica makes excuses to shorten Alan's visitation time and places, says you can't do this, you can't do that while you're with the girls and all that kind of shit.
Limitations.
And Alan at first tried to, go with it.
Go along to get along, yeah.
Maybe if I just go along for a while, she'll loosen up and she'll punch herself out, basically. No, she won't. Exactly. And also for the sake of the family court. Then he could say, look, she said this. I tried to go along with it. I tried to go along with shit. She doesn't want to get along with me. So Jessica then gets a lesson in court orders here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, apparently she didn't think court orders were a big deal.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because she's refusing Alan parenting time, which he has court orders allowed to have.
Yeah.
So she would basically, the way she would do it is he would come to pick them up and no one would be at the house. She just wouldn't be home. So he'd sit in the driveway for an hour, no one would come, and then he'd leave because what are you going to do? Then other times he would come to pick them up and find other people living in the house saying, those people moved. They don't live here anymore. And he doesn't have the fucking address of where they're supposed to be. So then he can't see them that day.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Yeah. Who the fuck? Hey, who are these kids? Those aren't my kids. What's going on?
John Candy and Summer Rental just popping into the wrong house.
Hey. So then Alan again takes it before a judge and says, hey, I got a court order. The judge lectures Jessica and says, do not interfere with his custody time or you're going to be held in contempt. That's the way it works. So this happened repeatedly. He goes to the judge says, I've told you 5 times. Why do you keep doing this? Again and again. Finally, he's shelled out all this money for lawyers and all this type of shit. He's sick of the whole thing. Jeff and Tara moved to Maryland now.
Really?
Yes, they moved to Maryland, and he'll come back.
Work in D.C.
Yeah, and he'll come get the kids and pick them up with a plane and do all that kind of shit. So they end up moving, and Jessica, he keeps coming back for hearings, though, for custody stuff.
Really?
He wants his kids. He wants to take the kids to Maryland if at all possible. Yeah. Jessica just stops going to the hearings. What? She just stops showing up for them. The judge has told
illegal?
her.
I don't know.
He's told her 10 times. She didn't listen. No consequences. So she just says, fuck it. I'll just not show up. What are they going to do? Jessica, at this point, gets fired from the Birmingham Police Department in 2000, by the way.
Really?
Following a physical attack on Jeff.
What? Oh, at work?
At work.
Oh, man.
Not good. Fired by Police Chief Mike Coppage for being absent without leave and a physical attack on Alan Bates. That was not even on her. I thought it was on Jeff. It's on Alan.
Okay, it's on Alan, that thing down the stairs.
And in the termination letter, it said, you went to the home of your ex-husband and you admitted you hurt him to keep him from hurting you. So they said, you can't do that. So November 2000, Alan's going to court asking that his wife be held in contempt for denying him visits with his children.
Right.
So less than a week later, though, The summons for Jessica was returned to the court as undeliverable because she had moved and no one knew where she was.
Oh, my God.
So the judge then reschedules hearings several times in the next year as they try to find out where she is and serve her with the papers. He's not seeing his kids this whole time. No, this whole time.
Oh, my God. As a father, I am panicked.
It's horrified. Yeah, he's horrified. And he keeps going back there and he's spending all this money on lawyers and all this shit and nothing's helping.
Oh, God.
So October 2000, the judge found found Jessica in contempt of court and ordered that she be jailed for 10 days for not showing up for hearings, even though she had received a summons for this last one.
Yeah.
Then they can't find her again to make her actually do it.
Yeah. So now she got a warrant. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, finally, in December of this is October 2000. Finally, in December of 2001, she's arrested. So over a year later.
Oh, my God.
She's arrested on a contempt of court charge in order to serve, you, ma'am, may fuck off 10 days in jail. Yeah. So he was like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking crazy just to see my kids. You know what I mean? Repeated orders from a judge. I thought that's also, she even refused the mandated weekly telephone calls with him. Nothing.
What is happening?
So he decided he's filing for full custody. At this point. Now, she serves her sentence around Christmas. She's let out on the 24th to do Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with her family and then taken back into jail on the 26th.
That's fun.
Now, she, by the way, she knows the court's not going to do shit. She can't allow him to take the girls because she needs the child support, by the way.
Yeah,
so she needs to have custody as of the kids. Yeah. They have a bunch of debt, and she's unemployed now, and it's not working out.
Yep.
Now, while she's in jail serving her 10 days, she spent that 10 days productively. She spent it reading, which is productive. That's good. She read a murder mystery.
Oh, Soldier of Fortune.
and began forming a plan in her mind after reading a murder mystery. And this would be a plan that's where she would never lose custody of her kids. So Allen's asking the court to give temporary custody of his daughters. The custody fight comes back in January in court again, and the judge ordered that the two girls could not be homeschooled while the case was pending. That was a part of it, was they had to stay in the school, whatever. So he ordered both parents to provide their home phones and cell phones and addresses to each other at all times. Court ordered. Each have to know where each other is because you have to be able to get a hold of the kids. So the order stemmed from the girls being transferred to different schools to keep their father from finding them. She would pull them out of school and put them in a different school if he knew where the school they were going to. It's fucking ridiculous. So February 15th, 2002. Sounds familiar, that date?
It does, yeah.
That was a date where they were going in to do depositions for a trial that was to take place on March 5th. To figure out custody of these kids.
Day after Valentine's Day.
Yep.
No love lost.
No love lost here. So Alan and Tara flew into Birmingham International Airport. They rented a car. The couple was, they wanted to get there because they were going to get there and pick up the kids. Their whole thing was they were going to Hoover, pick up the kids from from Jessica and her husband here and Jeff. Yeah. And then they were going to meet Alan's parents in Atlanta and hang out with them. So that's what that was. So Alan was in Birmingham that Friday. He gave his versions of the events at the deposition. Jessica did the same thing. And the plan was to pick the kids up at 6 p.m. at their home, at the McCord house here. So that's what they're going to do. And they were shocked that Jessica said this was okay. Like, they were blown away that this was, like, approved.
Finally,
by,
she's just,
she's letting me take the kids for a whole weekend to my parents' house, like, in another state away from her. It was crazy.
Right.
So
it's so far-fetched to be a normal person at this point.
Yeah, it's so just strange. Yeah, they're shocked. So the deposition ends about 3:30, and Alan and Tara go to a restaurant in downtown Birmingham and eat some food, and they're just trying to kill time till 6 o'clock, basically, till that happens. Now, 10 p.m. comes around, and at 10 p.m., Joan Bates, Alan's mother, starts worrying that she hasn't heard from Alan yet. He was supposed to pick the kids up at 6. He always calls when he's on the way from a long trip like this, and I never got a call from him. And if he picked the kids up at 6, it's now 10. He should be here by now.
Right.
So they're starting to get a little bit worried about this. Here, they looking out the window, looking for headlights, doing all that kind of shit. They thought maybe Jessica changed her mind and he's staying over there trying to fight with Jessica and get the kids, or maybe Alan could have had the kids and then, took off to get away from Jessica or something.
Right.
We don't know. They said Marietta, where he was about a 2.5-hour drive from Birmingham. So they're like, he definitely should have been here now. They said even if the deposition ended super late at 5, which it ended at 3:30, we know, pick the kids up by 6, get on the road and into Marietta by at the latest 9:30 if you stop. They said sometimes they stop for fast food maybe or something. Sure. Kids have to piss every 5 minutes. Who knows?
Yeah, you get on the road at 6 p.m., somebody's got to eat dinner.
Well, Philip and Joan, the parents they were expecting them around 9, and Joan had dinner waiting on the table and everything, and they didn't show up. Alan was never late. He never forgot to call. He's Mr. Studious. You know what I mean? So they're alarmed here by now. They get no phone call, and they're like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So Philip calls Alan, no response. He tries calling Tara, no response. Yeah. He's like, what the fuck? So it wasn't even that it rang and rang like earlier in the night. Now it says this phone is not in use at this time. Remember that old message that someone had their phone off that would say this phone is not in use, or the user is out of our service area, or whatever the fuck it would say. Yeah. So Philip said, I'll call Jessica.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't like calling her, but, he said you got to do it. He said that he didn't like the husband either. He didn't like Jeff. He said they were crass people. They were shitty people. But he's crass people. So 10:45, or they call them, and she says, no, don't know anything about it. He never showed up.
She answers, though.
They end up, or no, she doesn't answer the first time. Sorry. Okay. So 10:45, they decided it's time to call law enforcement.
Yep.
So he said he didn't know if the cops would be any help, but he couldn't stand there and do nothing, the dad said. So he called the Pelham Police Department to see if Jeff McCord had clocked in, because that's her husband. That's where he works.
Detective Dum Dum in?
Detective Dum Dum? No. They said he works second shift, so he should be there, and Friday nights he's working.
Yeah.
So he should be reachable by phone or radio, and maybe he knew something. They said, no, he's not here. He took the night off. Oh. So they're like, well, that's no help. So he called the Hoover Police Department and wanted to know if there'd been any reported trouble over at Jeff and Jessica McCord's house, and gave him the address. Did you get any calls to this house? They said maybe it was a family squabble. No calls, no nothing. So he said, fuck. So the Hoover PD told him that they didn't have any report. They said, we'd send an officer over there to check things out if you want. And he said, please do. Yeah, and they said this was, they called it an overdue motorist call, and it happened. They said it happens all the time. We'll go check on him. Okay. They never showed up.
Oh, it's a welfare check.
Welfare check. Yeah. So they show up. Scott McDonald, this officer, is dispatched to the house here on Myrtlewood Drive, and he's been told to check things out. They said that maybe Alan and Tara had broken down, or maybe they were staying at the McCords for the night while the car was being repaired, which would be very weird. They pull up in front of the house. Guy grabs a flashlight. He said the house looked deserted. Walks up to the front porch, and there was the windows. They had the panels, little squares, windows on your front door, were covered up. It looked like with towels or sheets from the inside. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he said, that's weird. He said it gave the windows a real weird look, like someone was trying to block the view of the inside of the house from anyone looking in, or maybe there was work going on, paint or something, whatever.
It didn't look like they live like this. This looked like a temporary thing.
It's set up, yeah. Mm-hmm. So he shined the light back and forth to the windows on the side, same things, everything's covered. So might be painting or something. So back on the porch, he sees a handmade sign written in magic marker that says, we're having some problems with our front door. Please come around to the back door. Oh. So he rang the doorbell a little bit more in the front and then goes around the back door, and he said, fuck it. So he knocks hard on the door, no answer, nothing, stares into the house, doesn't see anything.
No movement.
Hears nothing. So he goes into the driveway, notices there's no vehicles in the yard or anything like that. Walks towards the garage to see, if maybe there's a car in there. He looks in, and those are covered up by towels, too.
All the glass in the garage is covered up?
Yeah, it's all covered up, too. So then, 3:30 a.m., a red Grand Am is found in Rutledge, Georgia, by the four friends going to the chicken show, which we know all about here. February 16th, so that 2.5 hours after that car is found, Philip Bates, Alan's dad, said, I had done all I knew how to do, and I went to bed for a few hours in the night, like at 2 o'clock in the morning. He said in the morning he made coffee, and he said he saw the clock said 6 o'clock in the morning. He still hadn't heard from Alan.
Oh, God.
Not a word from anyone. So he called his son's and Tara's phones again and got nothing. It said that, not available. So he said, shit, something's going on here. So he said he had to file a missing persons report. Mm-hmm. So he does. He calls the cops, and he thinks about calling the cops, and he said he knew the first answer they would have was, what were they driving? What were they doing? He said he had no idea. He just said he knew they were going toward over here because they rented a car.
Uh-huh.
So he said he called around. He starts looking around. He starts calling every rental place at the Birmingham airport to see if they would tell him if he rented a car. He started with Avis because it's A.
Yeah.
It's the top of the phone book.
List, yep.
He said, I told them who I was and what I was trying to do and my concern. The agent was helpful and, wanted to help. Philip asked, have you rented a car to my son, Alan Bates? And if so, could you give me the color, make, and model, maybe a description of it so I could file a missing persons report? Mm-hmm. And he said that, he was getting his shtick down because he knew he was going to have to say this to 5 different rental car companies. The guy said, hold on a minute, and then said, I need to get my supervisor.
I gotta ask if we can release that info. I don't know if we can.
Yes. He was like, what the fuck? So the manager came on the line. Philip told him everything, and the manager made a suggestion and said, sir, I was told to give this number out to anyone calling here regarding that rental.
What?
And so he said, okay. He took the number down, and he called it, and it was the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. And he's like,
my God.
What the fuck is going on here? And he said, that's when I knew that was it. He said, that's when he fucking knew it. So the police here, they're doing the same thing he's doing, basically. They just did it faster. They tracked down.
How about that?
They had the VIN, so they called it in, and it was, registered, or it was to Avis, so they called Avis, and they knew that
GBI's like, if anybody calls about this car, let us know. We're going to try and track down kin of these 2 people.
It's exactly what it is.
They don't even have IDs on these people.
They don't even have IDs. That's why they're wondering. Maybe they can put it together with somebody looking for it. Maybe they can do that. So that's what they're wondering. Now, when they got a hold of the rental car company, that's when they found out that car was rented to Alan. Yeah. So now they're worried that it's Alan in the back there. But they also haven't talked to Jeff or Jessica, so maybe it's them. They have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, they said once we identified the car, this is the cop talking, Williams, who got there first. Once we identified who the car was most likely contained, obviously the victims could not be identified formally. And once we talked to the Bates family and found out that Tara and Alan Bates were overdue, we focused on where they were last seen. Okay. And everything goes to Birmingham.
Yep.
Now they're going to go there. Autopsies. Okay. Outside of the bodies here, he conducted an external examination, took photographs, x-rays, where they'd been, shot and all that kind of thing. They wrote in the report that Alan's body exhibited extensive charring from head to toe and has a pugilistic attitude with the right arm flexed at the elbow. Like he's going to throw a punch, I guess that would be. Yeah. And left hand at the wrist. They say pugilistic attitude, or as it's more frequently called, pugilistic posture, is a common occurrence found in victims of fatal fire. The body, as it heats up, is exhausted of most of its fluids. It loses fluids, mainly water, causing a restriction in the muscle tissue, causing
your hands go up.
To tighten up, which curls the tips of the fingers, the tips of the toes, ankles, elbows, and any other place in the body where there's a movable joint. Some say the body, when it's presented this way, takes on a boxer's position, reasoning being behind that, the hands and wrists and elbows are flexed and curled like they're
crazy.
Yeah. They said also it's mistaken sometimes as a pre-death attempt to shield oneself from an attacker. They'll see that and think that they're covering up when they're not. It's just how their hands went. So they noticed that Alan's right forearm was burned away approximately 5 inches distal to the elbow. Burned away.
Oh, my God.
The lower extremities are contracted at the knees and ankles with almost complete disarticulation at the knee and ankle joints. So completely gone.
Yeah.
To look at a body that's been burned like this, they said, is not easy. They said there's the charring of soft tissue, the doctor said, about Alan's body. Also, it's most severe on the anterior portion of the face and right side of the head. Any exposed section of his face that wasn't on the laying down.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Tara's extremities, her arm was partially burned. The other was completely burned away.
Oh,
her arm
Lord.
burned off. Her skin is completely burned away with some charred muscles and soft tissues. The doctor opened both bodies and removed the organs, and he would find wounds and use probes to figure out the trajectory of possible projectiles. And they said that there's wounds in her back, bullet wounds here, they said were in Tara's back that were consistent with an exit as opposed to entrance wounds. So came from the front, out the back. They said there's a second bullet wound a little bit closer to the armpit area, directly underneath the position in the body where the arm connects to the shoulder socket. They said Tara was shot, it looked like, as she lifted up her arm, probably as she tried to defend herself.
Shield it, yep.
Shield. There. They said a third wound the doctor found was located in Tara's chest and a fourth in the flank or near the belly area of the side of the hip. 4 bullet holes they find in her.
Golly.
From the evidence available and all of this type of thing, trajectory patterns and everything, they said it appeared to the doctor that Tara was shot 4 times, each hitting a different area of her body as she tried to protect herself and fell to the ground. They said her killer approached with a weapon, began firing, and didn't stop till she was dead. That's what it looked like here. In the end, they said obviously both are a homicide. Both of them have multiple gunshot wounds of the torso and upper extremity, and that's that. They said it was close range, more than likely, and they obviously put their arms up to defend themselves. Right. And they said that 1 or 2 of the bullets would have been fatal in and of themselves without immediate medical attention, and they each had 4 wounds in them. Ooh, so seems like a lot. So they head to Birmingham. They go to Pelham, Alabama, here, obviously, and they're looking for, well, a second agent goes off to Marietta to interview the Bateses. So. Right. They're trying to find him here. They want to talk to Jeff. That way they can track down Jessica and find out if and when she saw or heard from Alan the night before. So they said, the one police officer said, primarily we selected an interview with Jeff McCord first because we knew where he was supposed to be, which was at work. He had swapped shifts with another officer early in the week and was scheduled to be working that Saturday covering for another cop. After speaking with the chief of the Pelham Police Department, they understood that the best way to approach Jeff was to arrive at Pelham, at the department, before his 3 p.m. shift started. And the chief said that no one would tell him that anyone was there to interview him, and, you can ambush him.
Surprise.
So, they said they wanted to figure this out. They get this. They also want to talk to a friend who the Bateses visited that day after the deposition. They had time to kill. So they questioned. A friend of theirs said, we were just sitting and chewing the fat. And he was saying that they were talking about the court hearing regarding the custody of his children. And Tara complained about the car they had. She said they weren't happy with the size of the car. Either they hated it. It was a small. The Grand Ams are small. Yeah. So they can't find Jeff and Jessica. They finally find them, apparently, at home. Really? And they say, oh, yeah, we've been out all night. That's why. And we'll have an exact description of where they are, where they went, where they said they were. But they said we went to the movies, we went out to dinner, we had a romantic night. It was, after Valentine's Day. Went to the movies, went to dinner, went to a strip club.
Oh,
yeah. Then went on a long drive and then spent the wee hours of the morning up until sunrise at like a makeout point, waiting for the sun to come up. Very romantic.
Wow. She's 19 again. Just fucking crazy.
She said it was one of her old hangout spots from her teen years. They went. Yep.
Sucked a lot of dicks up there.
they had to push aside sophomores and get fingers out of them to fucking get there. Then they said they stopped at Home Depot there. They were first in line at the door when they were open. They were just waiting at the door to pick up some supplies so Jessica's stepfather could work on their house that day. Okay. So they said both of them were tired. They said they put their keys down on the kitchen table, scrolled through the caller ID, and said, oh, man, Philip and Joan keep calling. What the fuck's going on? Mm-hmm. So, and she said that it must be Alan, she thought, because Alan, she said, hadn't shown up at the house to pick up the kids. So maybe that was him calling to give his excuse of why he wasn't coming. Right. So she called up the household. So she called up Philip and Joan here, the parents of Alan, and said, hello. And she could hear voices in the background. She didn't know it was the Georgia Bureau of Investigation talking to them, but so they're talking, and they were there to, get all the information down. She said, is Alan there? Can I speak to him? And Philip said, I wish I could let you, but I don't know where he is. And she said, what do you mean? And he said, I can't find him. And Jessica said, oh my gosh. She said, oh, that's startling. She thought it was Alan was super responsible. He's the do-gooder. He never let it. What the hell's going on here? Philip said, I'm on the other end with someone important, Jessica. I'll have Joan call you back. You're not important, by the way, is what that says.
Yeah, I got the important people on the phone.
Yeah, not here. Alan and Tara Joan calls back and says Alan and Tara are both missing. They haven't come to Georgia as planned. Where are the children? I hope they didn't disappear with the children. Right. Jessica says, they're at my mom's house. And so Joan says, well, they haven't shown up and they're not here. And Jessica says, well, they're not here either. And so Jessica thought that Joan had a bit of an accusatory tone and felt like Joan was kind of condemning her a little bit, coming down on her.
Yeah. Well,
she's
mouthy
like, what
right now, Joan.
Yeah, like, why'd you even call me if you're just going to fucking yell at me here? So, yeah, she said, then Jessica said that Joan said, you've harmed them. They're missing. Where are they? She was crying. So Jessica said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, please let me know, Joan, what's going on when you find out. I would need to tell the kids something. Because they're expecting to be picked up.
Yeah, she's expecting them never to be found, or at least alive.
Yeah. So as she spoke, she could hear Philip in the background giving Jessica's address to somebody.
Oh.
So she stops what she's saying and asks Joan, why is he giving out my address? What's going on? Why is he giving out my mom's address? Tell me, Joan. And Joan wouldn't answer. She said, please, Joan, let me know when you do what's going on. So the police talked to Jeff at work, and he didn't seem too concerned about it. He told the officers that, that Alan and his wife never showed up to pick the girls. He said that they just continued, him and his wife continued with their belated Valentine's Day plans after dropping the kids off with the mom. He even produced 2 ticket stubs to a showing of Lord of the Rings.
They went and saw a movie for sure.
He's got stubs.
All right.
And that movie's like, what, 16, 17 hours long? So that would have covered the whole night, I think. It's real long.
We just left.
We just left. So when police spoke with Jessica at her mother's house, she gave the same story, saying that she had called Alan's cell phone once, left a message saying, where the fuck are you? He never returned the call. So I went on with my night, tired of his shit. Jeff, by the way, is called in by the chief of police to have like a disciplinary chat about what's going on here, and he refuses to answer any questions, so they fire him. Done. That day. Fucking out.
You can't plead the fifth to your boss, pal.
No. Yeah, no, not at all. Because they have a thing, I don't know if it's in every state, but I know like in Maryland they have a thing where the cops administratively have to answer, but none of that is allowed to be used in court against them. Because that's administratively.
It puts our department under a microscope, makes us lose our credibility. And unfortunately,
so that's what it is.
That's the only thing we've got.
That's it. So he is shit-canned from the department. Wow. So now you have 2 unemployed people. Next day, February 17th, the cops get a search warrant to search the McCord home. And no one was home, so they forced their way in.
Yeah.
And they said that it seemed as if someone had attempted to quickly remodel the family room.
Really?
Very quickly. They observed new floor tiles, new wallpaper covering the walls, but they said it was clearly had been done in a rush. It was not aligned at all. Like somebody just slapped it up as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And they said when they removed the wallpaper, it was an obvious bullet hole in the drywall underneath it. So like, well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Then they discovered a small amount of blood on the coffee table. It's a glass coffee table, which glass will hold blood real well. It's not like wood where it'll soak into it, So they said that, that a bullet and blood found in the home, that'll link them to something. The same gun they said that shot Bates also fired a bullet that was found in the McCord's garage when they compare the bullets.
It stayed in the house.
Apparently fired from the den area through the sheetrock and went into the garage. Also, a new piece of contact paper had been placed over another bullet hole. A piece of paper of the same print was found crumpled in a paper bag somewhere else in the house. That paper had a bullet hole that matched the hole in the wall. So they took one down, put another one up. They also discovered with this information, they get search warrants and warrants for arrest for Jeff and Jessica. So they said they tracked them down to a friend's home, and it was later learned that They couldn't find them for a couple days because they went out of state. They went to Florida for a while and then came back.
Wow.
Yeah. So they said they went quietly when the police arrested them. They arrest them on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Mm-hmm. When they arrest them, they find out something, too, and they process them and everything. Jessica's pregnant again.
Oh, my God, this woman.
Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Jesus
5.
Christ.
If anyone doesn't need 5 kids, it's her.
That's her, yeah.
So the Bateses here, Alan and Tara, the memorial for them is in Maryland, where they had been living, and they worked for a theater production company together. They had a joint memorial service, which is sad as fuck. They had the memorial service in Georgia. The father said they did everything together, so it's appropriate we do this together. That's so sad.
Well, I mean, we probably shouldn't have to, but
no. Now they said they're unwilling to talk about any plea deals with Jessica at all.
Really?
They said they're not interested in that at all. But Jeff, if he's willing to fucking
Chit-chat,
spill the beans, maybe. Jeff, though, said that he knew he was going to prison and didn't want to be labeled as a snitch in prison. You're already a cop. What's the difference?
Yeah, they hate you anyway, bud.
Well, you're in PC either way.
Yeah, you're in a
They
lot
put the
of trouble
cops and the
with that.
snitches in the same wing. So what's the fucking difference? Who cares? People want to stab you more in jail?
But
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and if you are convicted of what this is, a cop that did that shit, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble in there,
You're
bud.
fucked. Yeah.
Just snitch.
So Jessica has her baby in jail.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm sure that was a nice shower.
Oh, yeah. Her attorney argued that she should be released from jail to await trial with her newborn baby. 2 counts of second-degree murder. 4 gunshots each and set the car on fire.
She's got more kids than murder charges, so let her out.
That's fine. Yeah. So she says, come on, let her out. Why not here? Mm-hmm. So he assured the judge that she would show up for trial. She'll be here. You could trust her.
She's not going anywhere.
The judge said the children are an anchor for her to stay. What greater incentive to keep a woman close by than to put her brand new baby near her?
Oh, my God.
She's got a baby there. Yeah, it's perfect. So that's, by the way, insane. The Alan and Jessica's kids are in the custody of Bates's parents now during the trial. Yeah. Thank fuck. Yeah. So her lawyer also pointed out that the McCords returned to Birmingham from Florida days after the murder, knowing they were going to be arrested. And he said they didn't go to Argentina. They just went to Florida. And he said also that Jessica poses no danger. And this is fucking amazing. Quote, she has no criminal record. He said she's innocent of the murder against her husband, but even if she weren't, there's no indication that she's a threat to the general public. He actually said, quote, that person that she's mad at is dead now. She has no motive to kill anyone else. Oh, okay. Well, then fucking go out.
Only person.
Well, we're sorry.
What about the unsub?
What about that? We're sorry. Jesus Christ. Our bad. The prosecutor argued that she's a flight risk because she's shown a total disregard for the legal system.
Right.
Her whole life here. She broke the law when she ignored court orders about visitation. She was twice found in contempt of court, spent time in jail for that. He said she's continued to thumb her nose at the law through this entire situation.
Yeah, she's been irresponsible and unaccountable her entire fucking life.
Her lawyer said, listen, just release her on bond and put an ankle bracelet on her and send her to her house. That way she's not going anywhere.
How about no?
The prosecutor said she murdered not only her ex-husband, but his new wife. She put their bodies in a rental car, took it to a field in rural Georgia, and set it on fire. Need I say more?
It's a bad woman, man.
Judge says, no, you don't need to say more. You're not going anywhere. So at her trial, Jessica's trial, Brandy Lynn Burnett testifies.
Okay.
She was in the Shelby County Jail with Jessica in December 2001 when she was there on her contempt charge.
Uh-oh.
And she talked nonstop, Jessica did, about her custody battle with Alan while she's in jail. Because that's why she's in there.
Yeah.
She said that while she was in there, this woman testified, quote, she said she was going to get them back even if she had to kill them. That's it. So, Yep. Another witness, Kathy Turner, a longtime friend of Jessica and Alan, said that Jessica called her days before the murders and was upset that Alan would have the children that weekend. Okay. Turner said that Jessica told her she was going to, quote, set him up when he came to pick up the girls and make it look like he had attacked her. She tells other people. Imagine the thought to even do that's fucking crazy. Yeah. And then to carry it out's crazy, but to tell your friend, I'm going to set him up and make it look like he beat me up so he gets arrested, that's fucking crazy.
Unbelievable strategy.
It's crazy to just admit that to another human being and not expect them to never want to talk to you again because you're a dirtbag. That's some balls, man. I guess she is pretty honest. The defense attorney asked why. Well, why didn't you call Alan Bates and warn him?
Yeah.
And the guy, and this witness, Kathy Turner, said that she thought it was just idle threats. She thought she was just talking shit. Wow. So, do you ever talk to someone who's recently divorced or in any kind of custody battle? They talk all kinds of shit. Think about it. I've been with you this whole time while you got a divorce and all that kind of shit. If I wrote down everything terrible you've said and said it out loud in a court of law, it would sound awful.
They'd go,
you know what I mean?
Jesus, this guy.
He's a monster.
How's she still alive? It sounds like he wanted to gut her years ago.
Is she in the courtroom? Let's hope so. Otherwise, she's buried in the desert. Then they talk about physical evidence. Mm-hmm. Now, I guess Jeff's stepfather discarded the sofa where they had been shot on, apparently. And we'll find out exactly what happened here because, don't worry. Prosecutors said that the McCord's black sofa, they brought it into court and showed that they took care to clean up after the shootings. An agent with the GBI said that chemical tests turned up bleach. And the prosecutor said where it appeared to have been wiped clean, and she said yes. Hoover Police Detective Sergeant Peyton Zarzor, that's some kind of name, said the investigators found a piece of wadded up wallpaper in a brown grocery sack. When they opened up the piece of paper, that's when they found the bullet hole that matched the hole in the den wall. That section of the wall had been covered with newer wallpaper of the same design, but in a messier way. This guy also said that some of the tiles on the den floor had obviously recently been replaced.
Wow.
Replacing tiles, as had the carpet on the den stairs. He said it was new. Mm-hmm. They said that they tried to find their old carpet. They said they searched through 26,000 tons of trash at the Shelby County landfill, but never found the old carpet. Wow. That's fucking wild. A firearms specialist with the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences said that the markings on the bullets recovered from Bates and the single bullet recovered from the home were ballistically matched. And they said these marks can be likened to a human fingerprint. Yeah. It's the same fucking gun. Jessica's going to testify.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She's got some shit to say. She takes the stand and says she's the real victim in all this.
Is that right?
That's right. It's all me. She said that my ex-husband was trying to take my girls away from me, making me a victim. Yeah. She cried, saying how Alan was not the nice guy that he portrayed himself to be every minute of his life since he was 3. That every other person who has seen, he said, no, she's the only one who saw his dark side.
Oh.
That's it, just her. She told jurors that she and her husband that night went to 2 movies. We'll talk about which ones. One is Lord of the Rings, a strip club, watched a romantic sunrise, fucked each other in a car, then shopped at Home Depot. And we couldn't have been killing anybody because that's what we were doing. It's impossible. Yeah. She's on the stand for 4 hours. Here, she said she was very composed, super composed, and everything's fine. She said that when her husband didn't show, she and her ex-husband, her and her new husband, left the kids at her mother's and went to the Carmike Theaters on Lorna Road. Okay. They arrived just before 7 p.m. to see Lord of the Rings. After that movie was over, they went, let's sneak into another. They were playing Teenager that night. We're going to finger each other in the woods. We're going to fucking,
Snuck into another movie?
Snuck into a second. They snuck into the late showing of Black Hawk Down.
Jesus Christ.
A couple of real uplifters there. Can you imagine?
Happy movies.
Plus, Black Hawk Down is over 2 hours, too. That's a fucking long movie.
That's a long
You're talking about like 5.5 hours a movie, man.
Fucked up, too.
Like it's mad fucked up.
You're seeing that after Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. She said that she left the theater to get Pepto-Bismol. Yeah. She went to a pharmacy. It's turned her stomach.
She had to watch all those fucking soldiers die.
Yeah, just watch people get exploded. She went to a pharmacy about 2 miles away and called her mother from a payphone there to check on the children. After the movies, they went to check on the children and decided to leave them at the parents' house because they were sleeping already. Yeah. Why interrupt them? Yeah. That's when they went to South Side. There, and then Jeff McCord talked his wife into going to the Play Late Club, which is a downtown strip joint. talked her into it because I would never do that myself. And she even said, this is great, quote, I had never been to one and I wouldn't recommend it. He thought it would be amusing to see my reaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's never been?
No, she's acting like she's so prude now.
Right.
She said it was not my cup of tea, and seeing my husband obviously enjoying it was also not my cup of tea.
You've got 5 children. You
Jesus.
understand.
They're lucky she didn't stab a dancer, though, at this point, as crazy as fucking she is. Is your dick hard right now? I'll kill that bitch. Get over here, Peppermint. You're going down. So she said that then they went to a water tower in Pelham to watch the sunrise, which is where kids go to get blowjobs.
Did they stay at the bottom or did they go all the way to the top?
I think they stayed at the bottom.
Yeah.
She said we sat there and we drove there and sat and talked and watched the sun come up. When we were dating, we never spent all night out or anything like that. So this was like their night to be young again. By then, it was just before 6 a.m., and she said Jeff persuaded her, or she persuaded Jeff to go to Home Depot since they were already out and needed supplies to remodel their downstairs den. Right. They looked at carpet, she said, but couldn't agree on one. So they purchased only a carpet knife in anticipation of agreeing on a carpet later that day.
Just buy the knife, fuck it.
Just buy the knife, fuck it. Once home, she said she saw the number of Alan's parents on the caller ID, and she called them and was told they were missing. She said she was very upset about it. Yeah. But she said her and her husband, what could they do? They just continued remodeling their house. I mean, what are they going to stop for the day? She said they worked on the house and took a trip to Jefferson County to the Jefferson County dump to throw away old toys, a broken car seat, and a carpet from their den. So they had searched 26,000 tons of the wrong fucking dump.
Oh, damn it.
She went to Jefferson County. They went to Shelby, I believe, was it? County, they said, something like that. Yeah. So that is very fucking interesting there. So she said, yeah, we just dumped out our old shit, and that's all we were doing, nothing crazy. She said that the defense attorney then asked her, this is her own lawyer, did you kill Alan and Tara Bates? And she said, no, I didn't, which is good. She used a contraction. That's a good thing, but no one believes her anyway. Then the prosecutor, though, because that was all, her lawyer questioning her. And then the prosecutor came on and her story doesn't quite hold up as well.
It fell apart a little?
Yeah, they asked her about a call she made to Alan Bates' cell phone at 6:45 p.m. She testified earlier that he often didn't show up when he was supposed to, and said, I learned a long time ago calling him up and griping about it isn't going to do any good. So on the voice message, which was played in court, she said, where the hell are you? We're waiting. We've got plans for a movie tonight. Yeah. Okay. And the prosecutor said that the fact of the matter was their lifeless, dead, bullet-riddled bodies were down on the couch in your den when you made this call to set up some sort of alibi. Isn't that true?
Oh, my God.
And she said, no, of course not. And they asked her, well, why'd you keep your movie stubs?
Yeah, why would you keep those?
He also said that why'd you drive 2 miles in the middle of a movie to get medicine when it was available at the pharmacy within 100 yards of the theater that was open then?
Right there.
Why would you drive 2 miles? You know what her answer was? This is the worst answer.
I like the other store better.
I don't shop at that shopping center. You're in a movie. Get your fucking Pepto and go back in, you weirdo.
I don't shop there.
Also, then the prosecutor said, in reality, you concocted the antacid story after you learned that police had phone records of you calling your mother from that payphone. And she said that she didn't see that's not true. They said, well, when you went to the strip club, did you see anybody like a uniformed security people working there, like a bouncer, but like in a security outfit working there? And she said, no, not at all. No, I didn't see anybody. Yeah. So then they get the bouncer out there who works at the strip club. This is Shelby. He's Shelby County Sheriff's Deputy Kevin Wilson.
Uh-oh.
He does this off-duty security.
Off-duty in uniform. Oh,
off-duty on titty is what that is. And he works the front door security, so he checks every single fucking ID of everybody that comes in there. You see him and he sees you.
And law enforcement, he recognizes law enforcement. He'd know if a cop was in there.
Well, not only that, he knows Jeff McCord.
Yeah.
From police work and from the fucking 100 other times that Jeff's been to the strip club. So he would definitely know if Jeff was here. Yeah. This guy said, nobody gets in the club without me seeing them. And they said, were they there that night? And he said, I know Jeff wasn't there because I know him. So that's
Jeff knows he wasn't there, too.
Jeff knows he fucking wasn't there as well. So the prosecutor said in closing, she's got to have control. She's like a willful child who is going to have her way. She thinks that what Jessica wants is the only standard. What Jessica says is the only truth. What everyone else says or wants is completely irrelevant to her.
Wow.
And the defense says, no, it's not. That's their closing.
That's not true.
Are not. February 15th, 2003 is the verdict. And exactly
right there on the day.
To the day is the verdict.
Oh,
that happens so often. It's almost like it's on purpose. It's wild, but it's never on purpose.
Yeah.
Verdict comes in guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Uh-oh.
Sentencing comes around. Death penalty's on the table here.
Yeah, it's 2 people in a car. This is savage.
It's fucking horrible. Yeah. So during the sentencing phase, Jessica said she's sorry, or she never said she's sorry. She instead proclaimed her innocence still from the stand.
Oh, you can't do that, babe.
Her testimony focused on her children, and I would never do this because I love my children, my children, my children, my children. Now, before the jury, so the jury goes in, they decide what they want to do. They come back, they give it to the judge, and the judge says, is there anything you'd like to say? And she says, nope, I'm good. Okay. You, ma'am, may fuck off, life in prison without parole.
Oh, it's over for you.
Banged her hard, and that was a 7-5 vote, by the way.
Oh, not even unanimous.
5 was for the death penalty.
Oh, shit.
Those are the only 2 sentences for that crime, or life without or death penalty. And so she almost got the death penalty. Yeah. She's fucking lucky. So as she's leaving court, a reporter asked if she would like to comment on anything that's happened. And she said, quote,
any words?
Not hardly, and leaves.
Not hardly.
The strangest. Is that the weirdest thing to say? Not hardly.
For rural trash, she's got some real upper crusty language.
She does.
Not
so she's
hardly.
For a crass broad, as they call her. So the reaction, the attorney, her defense attorney, says that he didn't think that the prosecutors proved their case at all. Well, besides the blood and the bullets and the fucking everything else.
The other 12 people in the room, they believed it.
They believed it. Yeah. This lawyer said, we're heartsick for Jessica and her family, but certainly we respect the jury's verdict and we've got to live with it. So we'll just pull ourselves together and get ready for Monday's sentencing hearing. This was before obviously that. He also said that, quote, I didn't think it was expected, but we hoped for it, and she's pleased. She was very relieved, as anybody would be. She didn't get the death penalty. Yeah. He said she's concerned about her children. She maintains her innocence and has maintained her innocence. She looks forward to her appeal. Then he goes on to say the death penalty is wrong in any case, and in this case it's no exception. So we're very pleased and relieved that she is delivered of that possibility of being killed. She gets her turn. She gets to turn her attention now to her appeal, and hopefully one day she'll have a new trial and a more favorable outcome.
No, I don't think it's happening. Also, if this was a man that did this to his ex-wife and her new husband, he would be drugged down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Forget
and deservedly so.
Absolutely.
And we'd be thrilled about it.
You can't say she doesn't deserve it, man.
Now, what about Jeff here? That's the issue.
What's going to happen?
Jeff, they're trying to work. They tried to work a deal out with Jeff. The prosecutor said, I think there's going, because in this trial coming up, they said, is this going to be the same layout? Do you have the same evidence? And he said, I think there's going to be some factual differences, but the physical evidence is what it is. And that's what we used in Jessica's trial. They'll probably use the same evidence in Jeff's trial. So neither side discussed the possibility of a plea. The prosecutor said he hasn't heard from Jeff's lawyers concerning such a plea and doesn't even think that the state would entertain it anyway. He said there would be at least have to be some discussion between us and the DA's office with whether of us offering them or them offering. And there's been no discussions. Now, one of their friends, actually 2 of their friends, get sentenced for perjury in the last trial.
Who lied?
Yeah, apparently a friend of theirs will spend a year in a work release program for lying to a grand jury during the investigation.
Oh, trying to give him a fucking alibi or some shit? Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Upton of Montevello here will be given, he got 10 years in prison, but split the sentence to work release followed by 5 years of supervised probation. Ooh. So 5 years of work release and 5 years of probation.
5 years of work release.
5 years of sleeping in jail and working during the day, which is Just kill me now.
Can I just do, I don't know.
No joy then?
3
Great.
years?
Yeah. The prosecutor had asked this guy to serve, asked that he serve at least several years in prison, but his attorney said it was a little stronger than we expected. We were hoping for straight probation.
5 fucking years of work.
5 years. He lied to grand jurors when he denied knowing about the existence of a public storage facility where Jessica McCord may have hidden bloody evidence connected to the killings. The prosecutor said that he testified in 2 grand jury sessions and repeatedly changed his story as to whether or not he knew about the storage unit. So, yeah, that's that. Jessica's mother, Diane, will also stand trial for perjury on the charges that she lied to give her daughter and son-in-law an alibi during the night of the killings. Because she did. And she said, oh, yeah, they stopped by here. They were hanging out. It's all fine. So finally, Jeff pleads guilty and spills his fucking guts and tells exactly what fucking happened blow by blow. Yeah. So they said that that was the direction. This is the lawyer, the prosecutor said that was the direction Alan and Tara were going to be headed. It was supposed to look like a carjacking and a murder. That was the plan.
Really?
Because they were headed that way anyway toward Marietta. So the plan was look like they got carjacked, but like it's fucking Deadwood in 1877. Right. Highwaymen took them over, carjacked them, but then they decided they didn't want to take the car. And they stuff them in the trunk of their car and burn them, So they did what to them for what? Yeah. To rob them? Mm-hmm. They said that Jeff drove the rental car following his wife to the I-20 exit in Morgan County, where they searched for a place to dump the bodies. They chose an area near an underdeveloped tract of hunting land, basically. And the prosecutor said they just tried to find an isolated spot.
Yeah, they're just trying to get outside of eye shot.
And this one, where it is, like you go through town and come out, this is where you'd end up.
Yeah.
Now, investigators looked into the landowner of the property who lived just south of Birmingham and has ties to Jeff McCord.
What?
But they said it turned out just to be a coincidence. He dumped the bodies on land that he didn't know a guy that he knows fucking owns. How crazy is that?
Wow.
And those guys in the chicken show and Jeff know the same fucking guy.
Guys, you are 2 degrees from the chicken show, man.
That's wild shit. Yeah, 2 degrees away from a chicken show explanation. He said, we investigated that angle thoroughly and there was no connection.
Wow.
They said the sheriff's investigators pulled up one piece of circumstantial evidence that was used at trial against Jessica, the scrap of paper towel that had blown across the road. The pattern of towel matched the paper towels found in the kitchen of the McCord home as well. Uh-oh. They said they believe paper towel was used to light the car on fire.
Probably, yeah.
Also the bullet, all of that stuff. And they said that the prosecutor said this was not a spur-of-the-moment thing. It had been planned for several weeks. Wow. What they did was Jessica talked to Alan and said, hey, come on in.
Oh, God damn it.
They showed up and she said, no, come in. She said, wait 1 second. The kids they want to do something for you. The kids are doing a show thing they have for you. They've been practicing for you.
What?
So you wait outside for a second. They said, okay. And they said, okay, come in and sit on the couch. And so then Jessica went down the hallway and said, I'm going to go tell the kids that it's time now. And they're going to come out and do their performance for
Jeff, bring the gun in.
She went down the thing, said they're sitting on the couch. Jeff came out and fired 4 fucking shots into each of them.
Oh, boy.
Based on the pattern, it looks like, and he said he shot Alan first, which would make sense because he's the bigger threat. Right. Shot Alan first. That's why she was in a ball, basically covered up, because there was gunshots coming at the person at the couch next to her. And gunshots in a living room are fucking loud.
And a 44, forget it.
So she curled up in a ball.
Yeah.
And he blasted her too. And then he said they took him out in the trunk. They put the bodies in the trunk of their car, followed him over there, and looked for a spot. And they said it just looked like a place where nobody would see a fire
so
burn
messy
out before anybody
and lazy.
got it. So fucking messy, so lazy. And then they said they had to replace tiles and carpets and all this shit because there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
So a lawsuit happens. Oh, by the way, he's sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off, life in prison with parole.
Okay.
With parole, because he gave up how it happened. So the parents, all 4 of the parents, Tara's parents and Alan's parents, all bring a $150 million wrongful death lawsuit against Jessica and Jeff.
Really?
Yeah, they have no money, but this is for a specific purpose. It is... it's meant to keep the McCords from profiting from their crimes.
Oh.
They said it's to make sure that if there's ever any income from a book or a movie, that the money will be preserved for the children in the estate rather than going to the wrongdoers.
Yeah.
So yeah, any dime they make goes to them. Anything made outside of like, sweeping, they make 12 cents a day or some shit, whatever that is. So, that's how that goes. The Bates girls live with the parents, with Philip and Joan. They stay with them. That's fucking wild. So she's accused. They basically said, and Jeff confirmed that she came home from jail after reading that book with just a hot poker up her ass to kill these motherfuckers.
What a crazy fucking way to do it, too.
Wow. And 2004, Jeff agrees and settles with the family and agrees to forfeit any profits from everything that happens to him because he has no choice. Right. 2017, the Alabama Board of Pardons and Parole refuses a parole for Jeff here. He's 47 at this point.
He's only 47 years old.
That was in 2017. He was 47.
He's only 50-something today.
Early 50s. Then in 2022, he was eligible again, but I can't find anything on it. So they might have pushed it back another year, or he might have just quietly been rejected. But I didn't see, holy shit, murdering asshole is out of prison.
Yeah, there's no way he's out.
No way he's out. So that is Rutledge, Georgia, and really Hoover, Alabama, too, if you want to get technical about it. But the fact that it happened in Georgia, and it was like kind of the fire and all that shit, and they were supposed to be in Georgia, made it Georgia. But
Two
could have been in either
scumbags,
place.
Man.
Two terrible fucking people. Yeah. It's amazing how terrible people find each other sometimes.
Yeah.
That they're just like, wow, you're a scumbag too. So am I. I'm an awful person.
Scumbag cop. Shit.
And definitely not taking sides on the marital disputes because, you know what? Relationships, we don't know what the fuck happened between the two of them. Yeah. We have no fucking idea. So I don't care about that at all. That's not a matter of that. But you can't kill people. That's the problem. So there you go. If you enjoy this show at all, including this episode or any other episode.
Sure.
Definitely tell the world about it. Number one, social media. Number two, tell your fucking friends. Just tell your friends, hey, great show to listen to. Also, you can certainly give us a review on whatever app you're listening on, which helps a lot too. Give us 5 stars. Say something nice about the show. Doesn't matter what you say. Say what your favorite flavor of jelly is. I like strawberry, personally. There you go.
Raspberry is pretty good with some butter on the toast first.
Not bad. Butter? No.
Butter. You don't do it?
That's some hillbilly shit. That's why you die when you're 58. That's why. Because you put butter on everything. Can't do that.
I love it.
So do that. Definitely give us a review. Follow us on social media. Very easy to do that. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Murder Small on Twitter. So get in there for sure. Definitely you want Patreon for sure. You also want to go to shutupandgivememurder.com because that's where tickets are for live shows. September 20th, Minneapolis State Theater. Yeah. Get your asses in there. Get your tickets right now for that. Become our biggest show ever and make us have just beam with pride for Minneapolis because we'll love you sons of bitches. So thank you. Oh, we will. We'll consider it. Sell the bastard out. Sell the bastard out. We might move there. So do that. Hang out with us. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Definitely get Patreon. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports is where you get all the bonus materials. By the way, listen to Crime in Sports if you haven't. The ones we're just putting up have 0 sports.
Nothing.
We just did a 2-parter on a guy named Ted Turner. That's easy to remember. He pitched 1 1/3 innings in the majors. That's his entire baseball career. It's just all about crazy old-timey crime. So check that out. It's a good introduction to the show.
Crimes.
Fascinating shit. Yeah, so check that out. Also, listen to your stupid opinions if you haven't. It's fucking hilarious. We promise you. Yeah. We promise from the bottom of our souls. We wouldn't even say to listen to it if we didn't think it was funny. We would hide in it from shame. It's hilarious. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports, though. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get a whole back catalog of wonder. There's whole hundreds of episodes you've never heard before. New ones every other week. We do 1 Crime in Sports and 1 Small Town Murder, and we just give you all of it for $5 or above. Sure. Cup of coffee, we say, take all of this shit. Fuck coffee. So this week what we have for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about the 2 most penalized games in hockey history.
Yeah.
We're basically going to do a supercut of 2 games worth of constant fighting, and it's hilarious to watch these toothless Canadians beat the shit out of each other for an hour. It's going to be so much fun. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to do one we've been looking forward to, Internet Salad, we call it.
It's so much fun.
It's our pre-show and our post-show, and we're going to record it for you. And listen, so this is us talking about Tons of shit. Our lives, personal shit,
yeah.
current affairs,
Yeah.
making jokes. I'm smoking weed. We're, shit's a little more off color.
Yeah.
It's really funny, and we always laugh. We go, God, I wish people could hear this. This would be a very fun show. So now you can hear it. Check it out there. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Oh, and there's more.
Yeah.
You get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right fucking now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the most wonderful goddamn people who keep us in business and keep the lights on. I need to hear them right fucking now.
This week's executive producers are Kimmy Wolf, Lauren Kell, and her murder cats Michael, Hannah, and Lacey. I don't know if those are actual cats or
Murder cats.
Did she name her cats people names? Is that what she's doing?
Maybe a lot of people do. Yeah.
Michael, Hannah, and Lacey, and yeah. I think maybe it's possible.
My dogs are Benny, Frankie, and Oscar.
That's true. Yeah.
It happens.
My dog is named after a wonderful black linebacker. I love him to death.
Yes, he's good.
Jerry Mann, Randy Hall, and his wife. She gave no name, evidently. Just tell Randy Hall
wife.
that I love him, and and she said my husband. So I'm assuming.
Hey, your
no
wife
gender.
loves you.
Yeah, it could be your husband, Randy.
Your spouse loves you.
Emily
And he said his
Schalke,
dick is rock hard. Get home.
Jay Chichors. Chichors? It's Cichorz. I don't Chichors? Chichirones. I don't know. Well,
Just
thank you, Jay. You're amazing.
Thank
Other
you.
producers this week are Matt Villanueva, happy birthday, Janice Hill, Kevin Wicken, Patrick McCracken, Leonard Capriolove. What the fuck?
Wow.
Capriolove. All right. Leonard,
You
you're
look
terrific
like
too.
you look like you just were looking at the moon and it melted in front of your eye. It just exploded.
no.
That's what it looked like. You're like, oh no, what the
Well,
fuck?
that's no good.
I don't understand and I'm horrified. Both things at once.
Hannah Stone, Kathy Fountain, Jane M., Erica Tyler, Cheer Up Bitch, Natalie Garnett. That's not, I wasn't saying that to
Yeah, no,
Erica.
that was
Somebody just wrote that.
That was her
And
comment.
I
Her
have
comment.
to say that, so thank
That's
you.
what it is.
Natalie Garnett, I said that. Jordan Myers, Win 79, Win like the fucking hotel in Vegas. Nicole
okay.
Benson, Ben with no last name, Erica Munden, Dennis Brent, Ryan Lumpkin, Brooke Skinner, Tony Cook, Greg Richardson, Jennifer Backey, Hallie Martin, Kay Measy, Van Blarkham. I don't know. All right. Linda Lovelace's throat.
She's
Well,
the
all
deep
right.
lady.
Melissa Barnett, Melinda with no last name, Judy with no last name, Kelly Jones, Valerie Oldford, Sandra Hegemony, Mel D, James Nixon, Chugachu, Mary Koo,
Choo-choo, bitches.
Kayla Weatherby, also T, and also T. Jen Corrigan, Tyler Ewing, Nicole with no last name, Sarah Jerome, Bradley Keene, Lindsay Carpenter, B with no last name, just the letter B, Paige Melton, John Thomas, Kathy with no last name, Zach Alvis, Lisa Davies, Jack with no last name, Jeff Fortescue, like barbecue, but Fortis, Nicole Chapman, Shelby Coleman, Ian Lynch, Gerloff DeCorte, Corey.
Cool
What,
name.
Gerloff?
Sounds awesome.
What?
Gerloff
DeCorte.
DeCorte. Sounds like he runs like a small country we didn't know exists. You know what I mean?
Sounds like a brand of great shoes. Got the Gerloffs.
Outside
God
of
damn it.
Montenegro or some shit, like some weird.
Jesus. Corey Orashiba, Toby Kowal, Cowell maybe, Andrea Colban, Simona Martinez, Nikki Miller, Christy, M. Meeker? Oh, it's Meeker. I just held shift too long and I got the E capitalized also. That's what happened. Me Acre. Amanda Lunig, Eddie De Leon, Brianne Bean, Tyler Middleton, Estella Santos. Estea is out. All right. David Harvey, Spiral of Vertigo, Seda Bushroy, Noel Busby, the Geppetto, Jamon, right?
Jumanji?
Jamon, not you.
Oh, Jamon.
Wait,
that's what Michael Jackson used to say all the time.
Jamon. Yeah.
He's named after Michael Jackson's
This show
throwaway
brought
words.
to you by Michael Jackson's moan.
His brother, you know it. He's got a brother named that, so it's
Thomas with no last name, Jacob with no last name, Danielle Thompson, Kathleen Kellyhair, Joey Girl 38, Car, Carly Shut Up Bitch. I think it's Cheer Up Bitch Smith.
I think so, but that's
Carly,
fine.
jeez.
A little more aggressive, but fun. Shut up, bitch.
That's what therapists would say. Doctors would give you cheer up, bitch. Therapists would say, shut up, bitch. Desiree Grothis, Sarah Smith, it's husbands, whatever. Taylor C., Sean Hackett, Brianna Bird, Keena Kin, Nancy Olson Hernandez, Cindy with no last name, Mickles with no last name, Kelsey Belcase, Josh Sugg, Caitlin with no last name, Alan Sweeting, Seth Schaefer, Gap 7, oh boy, Prue Pierce, Prue, what a great name. That's a British one, right?
That's
Chris
fun.
Salas,
Like
the
like
lady
the
from the
baking
Bake
show.
Off. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
wonderful. God, I love
she's
her.
great.
Hey,
Doesn't like shit.
no, she hates everything, but she
love
does.
it.
She tells you that she hates it in the sweetest way.
Yes.
Lebra Sewer, Daniel Grima, Anna with no last name, Phil McCracken, obviously that's a
Scottish
real
therapist,
person.
yeah.
Mouse with
Like
no
my
last name, Tammy Henderson, Carson Shuck, Clint with no last name, Courtney McGee, John Binsfield, Emily Fielding, McIntyre with no last name, Thomas with no last name. Those are both actual last names. Christian Marlette, Thomas McDonnell, Greg Hoskins, Ashley Johnson, Lauren Donahue, Nick Holt, Carly Simon, probably not.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
That'd be
We're
amazing.
we're vain too, sweetheart. Sing about us. We get it. We could use it.
You could write a new song, just the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
You're so humble. That's us.
I don't give a shit what you say. We could use the pub. Just say
You
whatever
could
you
call
want.
me a piece of shit, Carly. I
Great.
don't care. You're
They're
a piece
pieces
of shit.
I think I found corn in them. I'd be like, great, good.
Corn
Fine.
and peanuts and black olives. Tatiana with no last name. Eli Cook, Dietrich Forcht, Anwar with no last name, maybe Anwar. Grunter, Newcastle, Australia. Lucid Comatose, that doesn't make any sense. Joe Busfield, Brian Cunningham, Evie Langley, Mark Mathis, and then Matea with no last name. Michael Gonzalez, Michael Rowe. Wow, 2 mics in a row. Look at that.
2 mics.
Eddie
Mikey Mike.
Romero, Dre with no last name. Marie with no last name. Because we'll never forget about you. Brandon Walton, Sam Richardson, Jay Rizzle 4, Elm Chanted, Jordan Gentry, Hannah Cox, Jerry with no last name, Jackie Tague, Lily Sankey, Elaine Johnson Papesh. Oh boy, I just put that word
gave
back
you
out
gas.
of me.
Yeah. So you had like a bubble come up.
I just pushed Elaine's name right out of my chest. Hannah Swan, Jordan Stair, Andrea Smith, Katie Brock, Jane Dans, Kristen B., Term, SD. All right, Christine Curie, Lucas Auden maybe, Jamie Hodge, Sharon Fain, Richard Lance, Aaron Dixon, Ben Clark, Frederick Goodrich, Dustin A. Keensey with no last name, Thomas R., Ryan Mendoza, Jade Lupinski, Austin with no last name, Colt Straka, Kate Straka? Kate, that's an I.
Hey.
Steve Huguenin, David Boward, Adam Wright, Jeremy Fragosi? What the? Yeah, Fragosi. That's a gross one. Caitlin Finnegan, C.S. Shelley, Judge Malley, Stacy Flock, Stacy Spalding, and 2 Stacys in a row. Alexandra Schmitz, Chad Hickey, Allison Casper, Sydney's Period. I don't know what it is.
Sydney's Period. Brought to you by Sydney's Period, the letter A and the number 4.
Christina with no last name, Hannah Wiles, Ashley Hawking, Victoria Yivisaker, Shelby Chavez, Matt and Megan Spangler, and all of our patrons. You guys are fucking incredible.
Thank you, everybody, so much for everything that you do for us. Honestly, we hope you enjoy the show. We hope you enjoy everything we put out. You want to follow us on social media, it's super easy to do that. Just, get on shutupandgivememurder.com. There is links to everything there. So keep coming back and seeing us. Tell all your friends. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them, or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.